The college football experience week 1 preview picks for Saturday, Sunday, and Monday episode on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Yes, sign up, and when you do, sign up with the promo code TCESGPN to score up to $1,000 in bonus cash. They just introduced college football, best ball. Get on over there. Underdog Fantasy, promo code TCESGPN. We're also brought to you by Rhythm. Get your free 7-day trial period today by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. That's RITHMM. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. And remember, as always, folks, to let it ride.
Hey, this is Bill Romanowski. You're listening to SGPN. Let it ride.
Welcome to the college football experience week 1 preview picks. Oh boy, for Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, we are finally here every day. I'm just waking up to say, is the game's on? Are the games on? Oh, I'm excited, folks. Shout out to the chat. YouTube.com/the college experience. I'm like Chris Farley's character in that Saturday Night Live bit. I've been having coffee downstairs in the basement for about 8 hours. Matt
Foley over here.
Yeah, Matt Foley over here coming in hot. I can't wait. We're almost there. Obviously, folks, if you're just tuning in, we released an episode on Monday covering our locks for the Thursday and Friday slate. So we're going to be starting with the Saturday slate and go all the way to Monday. We're back, baby. All right. If you're wondering who the hell you're listening to, that's fair. My name is Colby Swinging Database Dan, aka Pick Dundee. That's not a pick. This is a pick.
He was raised in the land down under, where a man thinks on his feet, speaks with his fists, and lives by his wits.
When Dundee happened, he was a superstar.
He's the kind of guy that would drink a gallon of gasoline so he could piss in your campfire. You could drop this guy off at the Arctic Circle wearing a pair of bikini underwear without his toothbrush, and tomorrow afternoon he's going to show up at your poolside with $1 million smile and a fistful of pesos.
Oh, yeah. Oh, man. I was looking at the Saturday morning slate. Good God. I might pepper spray myself thinking about that game in Morgantown. You know what I mean? You ever done that? Just get excited. Let's pepper spray yourself. Let's go. I am joined by my co-host. Give it up for former JMU Duke defensive back, the burrito eating, sideline kiss stealing, wheeling and dealing, Patty C in the place to be.
Hi-oh! Well,
let's get it going, buddy. All right, your Dukes are already catching breaks. We'll talk about that in a little bit.
The excuses are flowing, and the games haven't even started yet.
Oh, yeah. We are also joined by third man in the booth, the DFS god himself. We dropped a DFS episode earlier today. It's not out on iTunes and Spotify yet, but it will be tonight. But it's on YouTube. For the DFS slate for Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Just Thursday, Friday, Saturday morning, and Saturday night. Get on over there. Check out that DFS episode with Underdog. We did an Underdog best ball draft. Get on over there. All right. Give it up for the rooftop IPA drinking, homebrew making, tobacco road living, the free luck giving, former Herndon Basketball League MVP. Give it up, Red Sea Nick in the place to be.
There we go. What's going on, guys? Week 1. Let's go.
Yeah, boy. Can I make a request here?
Yes.
Can we get a little teaser on the DFS? 1 or 2 of your guys' plays from there to whet the appetite and get our people on over there. Curious.
Underdog segment.
I mean, that works too. But yeah, we could do that. And I mean, you're hot potatoing me on the underdog segment because we did a best ball draft. I haven't looked at the actual higher or lowers yet, but if you want to round up some when we go to read that, you can you can intercept and ask us a little, pop quiz hot shot. But I would say, I mean, the DFS slate, I'm buying into your Rich Rod hype, buddy. All right. Really? Several Jacksonville State guys were drafted. All right. Thursday night, Shedeur Sanders was also drafted. NC Nick, you want to give away a little?
Yeah, and I'll talk about Saturday games actually, because that's what we're here to talk about and pick actually. But I like a few Houston Cougars that are priced dirt cheap. I'm talking about Donovan Smith, the quarterback. I know Colby rostered Parker Jenkins, the running back, and I went with Joseph Manjack because not only does he have the best name in college football, but all he does is catch touchdowns. I think Houston is a little underrated coming into the year, and I think UNLV maybe a little overrated.
Ooh, let's get to it. But go check out that DFS episode. No, if you hit us with a few, we will go on that when we have to here. But folks, I want to tell you, you are listening to the College Football Experience. Merry football. That's what we say around here in the office. I go, hey, Merry football. And then people that work next to us, there's like a marriage counselor in an office next to us. It's fucking hilarious. I'm dead serious. There's a marriage counselor. I remember this last September. Patty C, you can attest to this when
oh yeah,
you're sitting there, cheering on whatever game, you're just like, oh fuck you. And you hear these walls they're not that thick. So
that could be convenient for you, Colby, in case you need some counseling. Then you just slip on right over to the studio.
2 birds, 1 stone. Let's go.
They hear us and they're like, hey, we don't have it so bad. Listen to these assholes over here. Fucking furious.
Oh man. Yeah. We probably like clear up. We're probably part of the hustle. You know what I mean? Is like, you hear us chanting dumb shit. And they're probably like, life's not so bad here, actually.
I think it's the opposite. I think it's the guy on the couch is like, I want to be over there. I never get to go out. The old ball and chain behind me over here.
Yeah, that's true too. Folks, what I was trying to tell you is Merry football, because it is football season. And we got 10% off everything in the merch store with the promo code football. Oh, yeah. Get on over there. Get yourself a Patty C burrito shirt. Get yourself a Mike Leach swing your sword. May he rest in peace. College Football Experience, Sports Gambling Podcast, college baseball, college basketball. I mean, just an Eat Shit Pitt t-shirt. Look, the Backyard Brawl is in 3 weeks. And you don't have to be a Dub V grad to wear an Eat Shit Pitt t-shirt. You know what I mean? It's just, sometimes it feels good to wear it. You know what I mean?
You're a Penn State fan.
Yeah. There you go.
Cool.
So check that out. Promo code football for 10% off everything there. Which, go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com to get to the store, or just grab the SGPN app, which is free to download in the App Store and Google Play Store. But remember, as always, folks, to let it ride. All right, we are back. There's a shit ton of games, so I'm not gonna sit here and talk about current events. This guy was a starter. He was named starter. This guy, Dabo won't take phone calls. Dion won't let a CBS guy in.
Dive in, give the people what they want.
Yeah, but we're just getting to the games. All right. And we're going to start things off. I went chronologically via the score app, via, the time slate. We're going to the construction zone, boys. The good old construction zone. How do we do this without fucking this up? Beanick, you got me on this? There we go. No. There we go. It confuses me. I don't do this technology stuff. All right. You hear Chuck Martin talking about these iPads that all the teams can use now. Like, well, what is this shit? We're look, I don't have time to look at no iPads. I'm looking at the game. All right. Shout out to Chuck Martin, Mac champion. Folks, we're going to a game back. This goes back to 1930. And I think the fact that this stadium's under construction is a blessing in disguise for the Vanderbilt Commodores Virginia Tech is heading to Nashville. The Hokies are currently, and I built this slide a couple hours ago, so it's whatever that was then, 13.5 point favorites. The over under set at 48.5. I already have a wager here, but if I'm being honest, it's 14 points. But what's a half point when you got Diego pissing Pavia? Give me the Vanderbilt Commodores. Everyone's buying this Virginia Tech shit. You bring all your starters back. All those starters didn't beat a team with a winning record last year. Now the bad news is Vanderbilt was not a team with a winning record. The good news is Diego pissing Pavia won 10 games, and they brought over a slew of Vandy transfers and about, I think, 4 or 5 Vandy New Mexico State coaches. Pavia's he's already hyped. He's the team captain. I mean, they haven't announced a starting quarterback, but he's the team captain. He's going to be fine. NC Nick, what are you doing here in Nashville?
While I'm not going to lock it with you, I do like your angle. I like your side. Not only is it, Diego Pavia, but it's year 4 for Clark Lee, and Vandy actually returns their entire starting 5 on the offensive line and 3 of 4 on the defensive line. I'll like to start things off with a home dog here. So yeah, give me the points. I think Virginia Tech probably gets it done and wins, but Vandy covers.
Shop around too. All of these lines courtesy of DK. So there's 14 out there. There is a flat 14 out there. Patty C, what are you doing here in Nashville?
Well, I mean, Virginia Tech is a tale of two teams. Last year, 7-6. Every win that they had, they won by 17 points or more. So they do beat up on those shitty teams. Vanderbilt, losers of 10 straight, but some pretty impressive performances to end the season. I mean, in losing efforts, only lost to Auburn by 7, or to Georgia by 17, Auburn by 16, even Tennessee by 24 is respectable. So they were able to keep it relatively close against better teams than Virginia Tech, I think. But 13.5, I'm just going to go with what I've said all offseason. I think Virginia Tech, even on the road, is going to come in here hyped. They're going to be rolling. It's not a lock for me just because you might be right, but I think Virginia Tech gets it done.
Look, that's a good Virginia Tech this would have been a home game for the Hokies if this shit was not under construction. They should just keep doing construction on this shit for the next 20 years. You know what I mean? They'll probably win a lot more home games.
Patty C had Virginia Tech in the college ball playoffs. So I'm not surprised he has them going in there, getting a W and covering.
Yeah, what was he drinking that night?
I mean, look, I was on Florida State, and so someone's got to win the ACC. Someone's got to go to the playoffs.
Yeah, after this week, he's gonna be like, I got Louisville winning this one, guys. Shout out to Kevin in the chat. Game 2. Look, this is all at 9 a.m. or 9 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern. We got Kent State and Pitt in a game that goes back to 1970. The Pitt Panthers are laying currently 24. I mean, I'd be lying to you if I didn't already wager on this. I think Pitt's going to fuck up Kent State. I like them going out and getting Kerwin Bell's son, or Kerwin Bell's son. What is it? Cade Bell, I believe. Cade Bell.
Yeah, we'll see.
And Kent State's horrible. So I will lay that big number with Pitt. NC Nick, you coming with?
Yes, here's one I will come with you. I like Pitt to bounce back.
You can talk over the music, all right? You can talk over that music.
I just like hearing that music sometimes. But no, I think Pitt's going to bounce back from a down year, a season ago. They're going to get that ground game going. And let's not forget just how bad Kent State is. I was kind of surprised that it's only minus, 24.5? Is that what you have there? Minus 24? I thought it should be maybe closer to minus 30. So I think Pitt wins an easy one, covers in the process. I'll lock it up with you.
There we go. Double lock. Patty C, can I interest you in a triple lock?
Sure. Although let me say this before we just jump into this. Cade Bell had better have some confidence and some swagger to overpower Pat Narduzzi's conservative mojo and his ability to fuck things up. It already looks like some of that might be in play here. Narduzzi hasn't named the starting quarterback. Nate Yarnell and Eli Holstein apparently still are both looking to get play time. If you don't have a quarterback, or if you have two quarterbacks, you have none. So asking Pitt to score a lot on Kent State, might be foolish, but I don't think Kent State's going to get any points, and I think Pitt can muster 24. They'll probably shut them out, so I will take Pitt.
Lock?
Yeah, lock it. Yeah.
All right.
There we
Absolute
go.
garbage.
Patty C. Narduzzi. Let's go. Triple lock. All right. I mean, I just feel great about the slate. Next, we're going to Hot Atlanta. That filthy. Do a home and home, you fucking losers. Playing this bullshit at the Chick-fil-A, Mercedes-Benz bullshit. I mean, you're right there. You have two great stadiums right there, and you're playing this corporate trash game. Man, Georgia's laying 13.5 points. If you can, I have seen 14s out there. I don't know that I've seen any, like when I was building the slide, I did not see a 14 at that moment, but I believe last night I saw 14. If you're on the Clemson side, just heads up, that might cover your ass a little bit. The over under set at 48.5. Dabo is not taking phone calls, which look, Clemson fans should get on his ass a little bit because he's undefeated since the last time that guy called in and talked shit to him. So why would you not take the phone calls then? You got something brewing, Dabo. Second year of Garrett Riley's offense for you can find me in the club, Cade Klubnik. I'm taking the points, man. And I'll be honest, I hate to do this the first 3 games.
Wow.
I'm going to bet this too. 14, 13.5. You fucking kidding me? But look, if you have to, I don't know. You don't buy a half a point, but I'm just saying, if you can get that 14 out there, you get it. All right. You get it. It's too many fucking points. Georgia beat Georgia Tech by 8. They struggled with the Missouri. Like Clemson's still good. It's too many points. Dabo's had a knack for showing up in big games. They don't just get blown out in big games. Patty C, what are you doing here in Hot Atlanta?
I mean, that's probably true. It's just hard to sleep on what Georgia typically does in big games, and this definitely constitutes a big game. Sometimes I guess Kirby Smart plays games close mid-season, gets a little caught up. He still ends up winning, but not necessarily covering. But week 1 you'd expect them to show up. Granted, obviously we have the example from a couple of years ago. Was that game in Atlanta too?
That was in Charlotte. That was in Charlotte.
So I don't know. Maybe the indoor surface is a little faster and leads to a little more scoring, which would favor Georgia getting the cover. I don't have a great feel for this. Clemson could do it, but I guess I'm going to lean Georgia just because they were so damn impressive in the Orange Bowl last year.
Moneyline Max saying Dabo is 21 ATS as a dog of 6 points and more. 12 and 1, did I say? Yeah. Dude, I mean,
nice little nugget there.
This line's a little silly. ACC Nick, you coming with me? Let's start this season off with a banger.
Straight, I'm coming with you. Yes. I already bet it at 14, even at 13.5. I still feel good. You know, Clemson always has a strong defense. I think this is going to be their best offense since the Trevor Lawrence days. Garrett Riley, Cade Klubnik, second year in the system. This is a ball game here.
You know what? You guys have convinced me, and I think Moneyline Max stat there is a pretty convincing one too. 12-1 against the spread as a 6-point dog or more. God, okay, yeah, I'll go with Clemson.
Wait, what's that? What's that, Patty C?
I think tide turning. As I remember, I was raised in the desert, but tides kind of turn. It's easy to see a tide turn. Did I say those words?
We got a triple lock in Atlanta at that filthy roller rink. Let's go. Clemson plus the points. Get that 14.
I do think Klubnik taking a step forward could be the difference in at least holding on to the ball, extending drives, slowing the pace of the game down, and keeping the game close.
Hold on. So we flipped Patty's pick and also convinced him of a lock. Damn, we're good.
Told you I should have went in sales. But vacuums door to door. I tried it for a summer. But folks, what to tell you, the college football experience is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Yes, Underdog Fantasy Pickup gives you a chance to win 1,000 times the amount of money you enter. Or you can play fantasy football the right way with Best Ball. Yes, Best Ball Mania is live with $15 million in prizes. Mac and NC Nick dropped an episode regarding that. Hop on over there on this very feed. So go check that out. You can now use specials and boost on all flexed entries. Noah, do we have anything we can fire away? Look at this right here. There we go. How about Cade? You can find me in the club. 190.5 passing yards. NC Nick, I think he can get above that. I think he can go higher than 190. I think he's looking at something around 215, 220.
Yeah, I kind of agree. I think they're going to be able to do a little bit more through the air, actually. So I might go, lower on Moffa's rushing yardage, but higher on Klubnik's, higher on Klubnik's passing yardage. I like that.
Yeah, I love the lower on Moffa's rushing yards. I gave that out on SGP, 70.5. Georgia will probably bottle up that rushing attack. If anything, Garrett Riley, I think, will find little creative ways to get the ball down the field. Patty C, what do you lean on that with Klubnik?
What's the number?
What was it? What was it again? It was 190.5.
Georgia's played really good defense, and Klubnik never impressed me as like a dude that's gonna absolutely light up the stat sheet. So I'm on the under on that.
The lower. But okay, you take those two. We need a third one. Here. How about Carson Beck lower than 259.5 passing yards? NC Nick.
Yeah, I'm on board with that. I mean, someone in the chat said Bowers is gone, McConkey's gone. They got to get used to some of those new weapons on the outside. So yeah, I think lower too. I think both defenses are coming to play, and it's probably going to go on the under.
I would lean that way too. All right. So get on over to, this is what's great about Underdog Fantasy, folks. YouTube.com/the college experience. You're seeing this right here. They offer stuff that you really can't grab anywhere else. So jump on over there. Underdog Fantasy, promo code TCE SGPN. And remember that part of what's great about Underdog is you get when you use that promo code TCE SGPN, you're going to be able to claim your special pick plus first time deposit offer up to $1,000 in bonus cash. UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code TCE SGPN. All right, we are back on the college football experience, and oh shit, we got a classic, one that goes back almost 100 years. Indiana State, the Sycamores, heading to Ross-Ade Stadium to take on Ryan Walters year 2, Graham Harrell year 2, Hudson Card year 2. The Purdue Boilermakers are laying 33. This did come down over the past 2 weeks. This was at 36 or 36.5 or something. The over-under's at 48.5. This is one of those in-state games. Like, I know Indiana State's ass. They play in a really tough conference, though. Yeah, they play in a tough conference, though. So it's like they probably, if you threw them in a different conference, would probably be like 6-5 or 5-6. Like middle of the FCS. I think they can cover this. I'm just not ready to just Purdue's got to prove it to me. All right, and Purdue pre-Brom was ass. Purdue post-Brom was ass. Prove it to me. Give me the Sycamores and the points. NC Nick, what are you doing here?
Well, Purdue did not play an FCS team in Walters' first year a season ago, so this will be his first one. But I kind of agree. I think it's going to be a tad closer than that. I mean, Purdue only scored over 40 points twice last year, so even if they're around that 40 range, I expect Indiana State to at least put up like 10 or so. So yeah, give me the points.
Patty C, Ross-Ade Stadium's going to be rocking.
Ross-Ade Stadium will be rocking, and Purdue played 11 Power Fives last year. And the one group of 5 that they played was Fresno, and they hung 35 on them. Indiana beat Indiana State 41-7, so would have covered that 33.5. They won by 34, and Purdue beat them last year. So I am going to lean Purdue to improve in year 2 under Ryan Walters and take it out on Indiana State in the opener.
All right, there you go. They don't call him Patty Chalk for nothing. All right, let's go. Next up, we're going to Annapolis, Maryland. This is an old school rivalry back to the 1800s. They've been playing ball. The Bucknell Bison of the Patriot League catching 33 at Navy Memorial Stadium there in Annapolis. The over under 47.5. Brian Newberry, year 2, pivotal year. They're going to the single T. Sign me up.
Yes.
Yeah. I think it's a single wing T, right? That's fantastic. This is a really hard one for me because Navy's going to bleed the shit out of the clock. I'll lay it here because Bucknell is kind of ass, but I don't feel too great about this. I I don't know with the clock the way. I'll lay it. I'm going to stick to my guns. I don't feel good about this. I'm not touching this with a 10-foot pole. If anything, I think the under is probably a better play than the actual spread. NC Nick, what are you doing here in Annapolis?
I'm going to take the points, actually. If you recall, when we previewed the Army game, which was either Thursday or Friday night, I laid a big number with Army. I'm not laying big numbers with both service academies. So give me Bucknell.
Patty C?
Bucknell, I guess 4-7 last year at the FCS level. Their one loss was to James Madison by 35. I think JMU was a considerably better team than Navy last year, obviously, as evidenced by their 11-1 regular season versus Navy's 4-8. Not to mention that they're installing a new offense there, Navy. So as bad as Bucknell was, I still think it's expecting a lot of them to install it and dominate week 1. So I'm gonna go on Bucknell.
There we go. EB Steelers saying Roger Staubach's not walking through that door. I was surprised to, at least from my quick research, that these teams have never played. The Governors of Austin Peay, who did just have an assistant coach get involved with, he got arrested or turned himself into the FBI with I didn't do a deep dive on it, but I believe sex trafficking. The Governors will be without a coach and assistant. It wasn't the head coach. It was like a position coach.
Does crime pay here?
It might. I mean, look, Louisville, they probably got those prostitutes all from the Patino days still hanging around.
They might have been, involved with each other. Austin Peay and Louisville got a little cahoots thing going on here.
Louisville's laying 36. The over/under is 52.5. I'm all over laying the 36. They're bringing in a brand new head coach too. I mean, Austin Peay is. So I could be talked into a lock here. NC Nick, what are you doing here?
Other way around, actually. I think Austin Peay won 9 games last year. They only lost by 17 at Tennessee a season ago. I think a lot of that talent is still on the team. And if you look at Louisville, the coach is still there, but they have a brand new quarterback. They already have, one of their starting receivers out for the year. I think it takes them a while to get on the same page offensively. I'll take Austin Peay in the points.
Wow. Tried to school them last year. Tried to school both you losers, and you guys are both fading Louisville again this year. All right,
wait,
Patty.
I haven't even gone yet.
No, I'm talking about in the preseason. You were talking about how Jacksonville State could beat Louisville. You just got no faith in Brown. I mean, they could, but you were shitting on Louisville.
We're talking about a program in Louisville that hasn't necessarily always been, elite. Yes, they did make the ACC championship last year, but you pointed out that was very much due to their schedule. 36 points here against Austin Peay team, like Nick mentioned.
They still whooped your little Notre Dame Fighting Irish's ass.
They did. Look, I think they were impressive. You guys say that. I got to give Brom his due. However, 36 points against a pretty good team. Austin Peay isn't a one-hit wonder. They've had several winning years in a row. I think it's a little too much to ask.
Where does Louisville rank on Colby's favorite teams? I think they got to be top 5. I mean, are they right behind Colorado and ECU?
Well, I mean, just because I donate to their NIL collective doesn't mean that I love the school. I just the prostitution ring won me over. Next up, we go to UConn. Are they Big 12 bound? Do they start the journey? They said they want to ease on in. Give us till 2031. We're going to throw a bunch of money into football, and it starts when we head to College Park, Maryland, Byrd Stadium, and we wreck these Terps. They're catching 20.5. Shop around. I did see 21s out there. It's just to stay consistent with the book we were using. I do believe you can find a 21 right now if you are on the UConn Huskies. And guess what? I am, but I'm not betting it. Give me the Huskies plus the 21 or 20.5. I also think the over 44.5 will hit as well. Patty C, what are you doing here?
Well, again, Maryland hasn't named their starting quarterback yet, as of reports from 16 hours ago. So
I heard MJ Morris might not be starting, man.
And recall, they're the ones that said that, MJ Morris was their one target that they wanted to go out and get in the transfer portal to backfill Talia. So kind of surprising that he hasn't been given the reins.
And meanwhile, Jim Mora just quietly sharpening his knife over there, grabbing Nick Evers as a starting quarterback. Joe Fagnano is going to be on the bench. This is a series that goes back to 1942. NC Nick, ACC Nick, Maryland's an old ACC foe. UConn could be a future ACC foe. So I know you're paying close attention to this one Saturday morning.
You know what? I do have the balls to bet it. I will go with UConn. And it's not just, because the UConn's going to be improved this year. And it's not just because Talia's gone, even though that is a major reason. Last time Maryland started a season without Talia, it was pre-pandemic. It was 2019. So I want to see how the new quarterback play is. Plus, Maryland only returns one on the offensive line. I will take the points here. This game is closer than expected. Bet it.
I'm with Mac. This is not a crazy. If you're looking for money line dogs with extreme value, week 1. This could be one. As long as Jim Mora's quarterback doesn't get out for the season in the first quarter, which has happened, I think, in back-to-back seasons.
So you're saying it's a decent money line play, but you're not going to bet the 20.5?
All right, you talked me into it, you filthy bastard. All right, I got Muddy Waters here next to me. He's a Husky. I can go with the Huskies. Give me the 20.5. All right. Just don't be Danny Hurley on the sidelines, Jim Mora. Please. I beg you. What are you going to say, Penny C?
Be Danny Hurley in the win column. Look, it's a little bit disrespectful at this point to say that Mike Locksley, there's a gigantic coaching advantage of Mora over Locksley at this point. It's disregarding that. I believe it's 3 years in a row that Maryland's gone bowling. The last 2, they've gone 8-5. Those are pretty good numbers against Big Ten competition, especially being in the Big Ten East, where you basically have 3 guaranteed losses.
I wish I had this stat prepped, but I know when we did this, there's something incredible about he's like 1-24 against Big Ten teams with a winning record.
Well, fortunately, UConn is a Group of 5 team or an independent team with the losing record. So they don't have to worry about living up to that stat. However, I'm kind of with you. I guess we should expect regression just because we haven't seen any success for Maryland without Tulia under the center. So 20.5 seems a lot.
There's 21 out there, folks. If you're going to bet this, get on over there and take that. Next up, well, actually, before I get to the next one, I want to tell you that the college football experience is brought to you by Rhythm. Have you ever wanted to create your own sports betting model for football? Do you even know what a sports betting model is? SGPN's proud partner, Rhythm, is the #1 AI-powered sports betting platform that helps provide bettors of all levels the ability to build custom predictive betting models in seconds and get predictions for betting on money lines, spreads, totals, and props. Build your own model. Copy one. You could copy one of the top from the leaderboards if you're a follower like NC Nick here, or you could be one like me to blaze your own path. All right, just select build that model. I want a team that's going to run the fuck out of the football. All right, and I dare you NCAA to suspend Kirk Ferentz one more game. All right. I challenge you to do that. And Rhythm gives you predictions for every game and player prop. So get on over there. They got a slew of stats, research, and trend analysis they're going to give you more betting insight. The Rhythm college football model loved Delaware State. NC Nick, you're on Delaware State though, right?
Hornets.
Yeah, actually, I guess maybe you weren't a follower. I mean, maybe you followed Rhythm. I don't know.
I just convinced you to go with me with the UConn pick. You're throwing me under the bus.
Yes. Build your own model and get ready for college football week 1. Claim your free 7-day trial period today by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. That's RITHMM. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. That's true. I am the follower on UConn. All right. All right. Back to the picks here. Next, go into a classic, a rivalry that goes back a solid 9 years. Illinois State, the Redbirds. No Kirk Ferentz. I'm concerned.
No Brian Ferentz.
No Kirk Ferentz. He's suspended.
Oh, that's right. What happened? What happened with that again?
Neither of them.
Yeah, true. But Brian Ferentz is at Maryland, actually.
Right. So even more reason to fade Maryland. But he's not the OC over there. What is he like? Some kind of
offensive analyst.
Analyst.
Hey, do me a favor, Brian. We're gonna practice. Can you go inside and get us some sodas? Right? He's suspended for apparently when they brought in Cade McNamara, he violated something, which is just ridiculous. Right. It's just ridiculous.
I was breaking the rules,
but
like nobody in the SEC.
But Chuck Martin's like, hey, they came in and took our kicker, right? And it's just, the NCAA is ridiculous. Go listen to our Randy Cross interview, who defends Michigan basically and says like the NCAA is they just have like a hard on for catching Harbaugh, even though he's long gone. We got what is this here? We got Pat. Is that Pat Kelsey? Those glasses. I can't tell if that's Pat Kelsey, and who's he with right there? Who is that? Who is that right there?
I don't know.
Who's on the right? I can't make out who's on the right. What are we doing here? Anyway, check out the college basketball experience and take the cards. Is that pertaining to Iowa somehow? Oh, the diner Patino was caught at. Oh, that's fantastic. That's fantastic. Yeah, you got to lean into that. They got to get an NIL deal with that diner. I got to go to that diner. But anyway, I'm actually going to lock this. You don't piss off Phil Parker. All right. The legendary defensive coordinator of Iowa. You suspend Kirk Ferentz. Dude, they're going to fuck up Illinois State. I'm on the over 40.5. Tim Lester in this offense is going to fly. And when I mean fly, this game is going to be 37-0. No, actually the over 40.5, 42-0. 42.
Well, without Brian Ferentz calling the plays, there's a chance that maybe they let Cade McNamara open it up and things really go well. Especially, you know what? Without Kirk Ferentz on the sideline, maybe they get a little crazy. And
well, that's what I'm saying. Tim Lester's offense. Remember when Pitt won the ACC? Tim Lester's offense went into that filthy Heinz Stadium there and dropped almost 50 points on them. Yeah. So,
well, you know what? As a matter of fact, you know how crazy Iowa fans are about trying to get Ferentz out of there despite his amazing record. Maybe it's like a audition for this new offensive coordinator to, show that Iowa is capable of scoring a lot of points and, put a good name in for himself. So maybe he takes advantage of that.
I'm with Benedict in the chat. Maybe we don't touch the over. We just lay the 22.5. I'll lock this up. Illinois State is not scoring on a defense with seven super seniors on the defense. Fuck you. You might not get a first down all game. You might not get a first down the entire game. Lock it up.
I'm going the opposite direction of you, Colby. I don't know if I'm
locking it. You want to battle?
It's tempting. I mean, Cade McNamara is a good player, but this Illinois State team only lost 5 games last year. 4 of them were by 3 points or less. The only team that was probably in the same category as Iowa was South Dakota State, obviously FCS champion.
But their defense is still not Iowa's defense, dude.
That's true, but their offense is far better than Iowa's offense traditionally. So, South Dakota State putting 40 up on them. I don't know how many times Iowa achieved that all last year.
Well, the spread's 22.5, 23-0, and you cash.
It's true. Still. I'm going to take Illinois State because they were a total of like 8 points away from being 10-1 last year.
There's 3 pick sixes in this game. All right, that alone is getting you there. NC Nick, lock this up with me. This is free money and sitting there in Iowa City.
I'm not going to lock it up. I am on your side. I do think we're going to see a little bit more offense from Iowa this year, and I think it's going to be hard for Illinois to even get on the scoreboard here. But I don't feel comfortable laying more than 3 touchdowns with Iowa. I'm sorry. I don't like Big Ten.
What do
West.
You mean with their defense? Look, their defense is good for 2 touchdowns in a Big Ten
You're
game.
Probably right.
You think this Redbird offense is that prolific? They're just going to come into Kinnick?
Probably not. But look, I know the Big Ten West doesn't exist anymore, so I can't hate on it anymore, unfortunately. But no, I'm not locking this. But I do think Iowa wins and covers.
This is one of my favorite plays of the whole day.
We should clip this, Noah. Anytime anyone takes Iowa by 3 touchdowns, it should automatic no-go. Should never happen.
We'll see about that. Lock it up, Noah. We'll be talking a lot on Saturday afternoon. All right. Next up, we go to, in my opinion, the best game of the look. I'm going to put Georgia, Clemson on the TV above the pupil, like on God's eye. But this is on the pupil because this is a fucking college campus, and this is the way college football should be. You got a rivalry that goes back to 1904, and guess what? They abandoned this rivalry. Joe Paterno, you filthy fuck. All right, you abandoned this rivalry in the 90s when you joined the Big Ten. All right, they're calling for rain, and guess what? James Franklin, he played last season for the first time in like 30 years, and he ran it up late. Neil Brown in the presser said we haven't forgot that at when that game happened, not recently, but he brought that up when that game happened. Look, Drew Aller was ass on the road last year. Absolute ass on the road. Go look at the stats. He was horrible on the road. Horrible against top competition too.
And don't get tricked thinking that Michigan State game was on the road. That was at Ford Field in Detroit. Because I think he had a pretty solid game against Sparty, but that was not on the road.
Look, I said this on the SGP show. I'm curious what you guys think. The Big Ten has a lot of great home environments, but none are Morgantown. You're not going to get hit in the face with a battery or have like someone puking on your fucking shoes. You know what I mean? Like this is a different level. All right. This is a different level.
I don't know. And that you go to
the
horseshoe,
who's
you go
puking
to
on
Happy
whose
Valley.
shoes? Players have their, I mean, fans, yes, but I don't think the puking is going to affect.
Well, you might see it in the crowd. You might see it in the crowd. Someone say, "Hey, Aller, you really suck." Right?
That might be Moneyline Mac.
Buddy, I got news for you, and I'm with Mac here. They're not just covering. West Virginia is winning this game outright. They are winning this game outright. I think this rain that they're calling for, and by the way, they're calling for rain at the Kent State Pitt game as well. I think it only helps West Virginia here. They are winning this fucking game. Get this Penn State bullshit. Drew Aller's got to prove to me he can beat a good team. Hey, Neil Brown, why don't you call 27 straight run plays again? Like what? I guess it wasn't Harbaugh. It was, who was that? Who was the interim night? Was that Sharon Moore that game? Michigan had like 7 coaches last year. I can't remember which one. I'm all over Dub V here.
True.
Patty C, what are you doing here?
Well, I will say, assuming the teams are of similar quality to what they were last year, just starting quarterbacks returning, most of the, I would say a similar talent level. I don't know if we've seen any exceptional transfers that look like humongous difference makers for either team. But I mean, Penn State did work them by 23 last year at Beaver Stadium. However,
they ran that up, dude. That was a much closer game, dude.
Okay, fair. And I think that probably will be a little harder to do in Morgantown. 8.5. Look, live dog seems like kind of obvious here almost, but is Penn State that much better than West Virginia? I don't think so. I'm rolling Mountaineers.
I know that, and shout out to the chat. They're reminding me about the what was it? Andy Kotelnicki hire, the Lance Leipold guy from Buffalo and Kansas.
Yeah.
Well, guess what? He's always had a mobile quarterback, even at Buffalo. Drew Aller does not strike me as someone. He's not going to have 20 carries.
That's lawn chair central right there.
Yeah, I'm all over West Dub V here. I'm all over. Like, this game is going to be fantastic. NC Nick, what are you doing here?
Yes, I completely agree. I mean, not only is Drew Aller questionable on the road, but I think he has a very questionable group of pass catchers. He has a very inexperienced offensive line in front of him, just one coming back. Penn State has a very strong defense. Why I think an underplay might be in the cards, but I think West Virginia's come a long way since that Penn State game last year. Garrett Green has come into his own. Now they have just as good of a quarterback, if not better. West Virginia's 2 running backs are comparable to Penn State's 2 running backs. I think these teams are a little bit closer than people think, and that home edge is going to mean all the difference. So I will take the points and lock it up with you.
Yeah, there we go. And
Both
Steven in the chat
protect the ball pretty well. So maybe the turnovers aren't a factor. Steven in the chat says what? Sorry.
Well, no, I was just saying that this was a 14-7 game at halftime. Penn State was up 14-7 last year. Now they were up 21-7 going into the 4th, but yeah, I'm not buying it. Like, Dub V was in that. They scored late to cover. They were dickheads. Like, I liked it for the rivalry's sake, but I'm saying they scored with like 10 seconds left when it was not to basically cover when the game was over. So I think that's fueling Neil Brown and Doug V. I think they felt disrespected all off season.
Steven says, who has Penn State lost to the last 2 years? I know they've lost to Ohio State twice and Michigan twice. So I get it. But this is still a very tough road trip. And you don't necessarily need West Virginia to win. You just need them to cover. And I just think this is going to be a very close game.
Patty C, you want to come along with this bet? This lock?
I'm not going to lock it just because it was such a drastic victory last year, even with all the things we've said. Maybe Penn State pulls away late again. But of live dogs, this seems like it has the highest potential. So I think the sprinkle is a pretty good play.
All right, double lock with Dub V. Wait. We got music.
Morgantown, you'll always be home sweet home to me. Good old Morgantown, WP.
All right. Next up, we go to. Oh man, the Vols need to bring this logo back.
We're still at noon Eastern time too, right? I mean, geez, this is awesome.
Let's rock.
Yes, I mean, think about that slate. This series goes back to 1892. Patty C. Patty C. You were saying that the Chattanooga Mocs have the best logo in all of football.
It's beautiful.
That is fire, right? The Mocs are catching 38.5. They were an FCS playoff team a year ago. The over-unders at 56.5. I will lay it with the Vols. I think it's a showcase game. You got Nico. What do we call it? What's his name again? His nickname, NC Nick?
Nico Ocho.
Nico Ocho.
Tell me that's not fire.
Nico Ocho is going to throw for 300. I'm going to lay the 38.5, even though it's a in-state battle. The hype around Tennessee making the playoffs, it's going to be bananas. People are going to be shit hammered on their pontoon boats all day on the Tennessee River there. Patty C, what are you doing here?
It's a big line, and especially for a Chattanooga team that was pretty good last year, 8-5. But the one game against similar level of competition, Alabama, they did lose by 56. I don't know if Tennessee is going to be able to replicate that, but especially with the new quarterback in Nico, maybe he's got to work out some kinks. Maybe they're not unveiling the entire offense week one with him, but still, I think they're just so much more talented than Chattanooga that they probably do cover this.
NC Nick?
Yeah, I'm with you guys. I'll go Tennessee, lay the big number.
All right, next we go to I mean, they couldn't have put this on Sunday or Monday. Fail by college football, by the way. I love how they're like with the playoffs. We're going to play it on a Wednesday because we don't want to go head to head with the NFL. Meanwhile, week one, there is no NFL. And they're like, let's put 300 games on Saturday and one on Sunday and one on Monday. You fucking losers. South Dakota State's catching 10 in Stillwater. The over-under is 53.5. I'm on the Jackrabbits. I think they could win this outright too. Sprinkle that money line. I am fascinated to see who wins the line of scrimmage here. I know Allie Gordon's a baller, but so is Mark Radowski.
Was it Mike Gundy's going to punish him for his off-season antics with a 60 carry game here?
Yeah, 60 carry game. They'll be doing lines at halftime, I'm sure. But guys, look, Oklahoma State's got to prove to me that they're actually going to be good in September. They probably should have lost to Tulsa twice in the past 5 years. They eked those games out. They got worked by South Alabama. Central Arkansas kept it close with them. Bobby Petrino, road rash face, he kept it close with them at Missouri State. There's no way I'm not taking the 10 points. And I do think this is a money line sprinkle here. NC Nick, am I crazy? I'm betting this shit.
I'm not going to bet it, but again, I'm on the same side as you. First off, this is the very strange and random 2 p.m. Eastern time kick, which is rare. But yeah, I mean, I just think like this game, who does it mean more for? It means more for the Jackrabbits. I mean, this is their Super Bowl. They get a chance to go down to a team that played in the Big 12 championship game. They're getting 10 points. They feel disrespected. They've won how many FCS?
They haven't lost in 2 years
now. Yeah, it's hard to go against a team that hasn't lost in 2 years and you're getting 10 points. So I'm going to stay away. I'm not going to bet. I'm just going to sit back and enjoy watching it. And let's go Jackrabbits.
All right, I'll go solo. Lock it up. Give me the Jackrabbits plus 10. Sprinkle that money line.
One thing I am a little bit concerned about, I'm sure South Dakota State at this point is a little bit plug and play, just like North Dakota State. where they were at for so long. I think South Dakota State is that team right now. However, Isaiah Davis was a very good, obviously NFL caliber player, 5th round draft pick for the Jets this year. Losing him, maybe that takes a little out of them, but I still think they're just at such a level as a program. And Oklahoma State, as everyone's pointed out, so notorious for struggling early. You got to
before Davis, wasn't it Pierre Strong? Is that who it was that got drafted by the Patriots?
Yeah,
so
he's still in the NFL. Yeah.
They got guys that are going to come up, and maybe you just don't know them yet, but maybe you will after this year.
True.
I mean, they have, what is it, eight preseason all first team players. So
first team all conference or all Americans?
I think so. It could be crazy.
Maybe
it might have been all conference.
They are the North Dakota State now of the FCS level. They have surpassed the Bison. They're the tops.
Shout out to Cheap Seats because you guys are going to look at every game. That's what we do here. What about Friday night's game? We already dropped an episode talking about all the Thursday and Friday action. We did that on Monday. That is available to go listen to. So go check that out. Shout out to Cracky the Cocaine Bear. He can't believe we're finally back. Yes, we are, brother. Patty C, did you say you're taking Oklahoma State or you're taking the Jackrabbits?
No, Jackrabbits all the way.
All right. I can't wait to watch that game. Next up, we go to Patty C's Cincinnati Bearcats. Laying 32 against these Towson Tigers.
That's up to 32 now, huh?
I'm taking Towson. Prove it to me, Cincinnati. Give me the points in Towson. Not a horrible FCS. They're not a horrible FCS. So I think they could stay in this game some. NC Nick, what are you doing here?
I'm gonna lay it actually. I think the Cincinnati offensive line, the Cincinnati running game, and the benefit of no more Emory Jones, the walking turnover machine, will all go in the Bearcats' favor. I think Cincinnati gets out the gate with a strong little outing here.
Patty C, you going with your boys?
Against good teams last year, Towson really did get worked. Lost by 32 against Maryland. Lost by 38 against Delaware. Lost by 23 against Villanova. Is Cincinnati going to be considerably better this year? I don't know. I don't want to touch this one. The fact that it's crept up to 32 scares me a little bit. I'm actually going to go Towson until I see it from Cincinnati.
What a year, what a difference a year makes. I can't fucking talk. Anyway, yeah, watch out for those Towson Tigers. All right, we Tigers on this podcast. Next up, we are going to Portland State, the Vikings, in a series that goes back to 1947. Don't sleep on the Vikings. June Jones's alma mater. Neil Lomax's alma mater. They're heading into Martin Stadium there, Pullman, Washington. Wazoo's laying 30. Look, I'm kind of high on Wazoo this year, but I'm also kind of high on Portland State and what they did in the portal. I will take the 30. NC Nick, what are you doing here at Martin Stadium?
Well, Portland State, let's not forget, they did lose 81-7 at Oregon last year. It's rare that a team puts up 80. But I agree. I think it's a couple too many points. They got a 5th-year senior quarterback. Dante Chacheri is back for the Vikings, and Washington State's going through a little turnover, especially at quarterback. So I think it's a bit too many points. It's gonna be Portland State.
Patty C.
Yeah. On the contrary, not 2 weeks later did Portland State beat the North America Stallions 91-0. So take that. It all depends on who you're playing, I guess.
It's easy to see a tide turn.
That's right. I don't know. I mean, we've seen.
It's easy to see a tide turn.
That's right. Wazoo, you guys have a lot of confidence in them, so I kind of want to lean that direction. So I don't know. No. I'm going Portland State. 30 is too much.
Yeah, I took Portland State, buddy. So I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. With my confidence. Yeah.
All off season, rather. All off season. You were
glad to see you're paying attention there, Chief.
Showing confidence. Showing confidence in Wazoo is what I meant to say. All off season.
Oh man. Next up, we go to. I can't wait for this. When is Miami going back to this logo? By the way, I mean this logo is better than that U bullshit. All right. Miami's laying 2.5. I do think you could find a 3 out there. In the swamp. I can hear the Tom Petty, everyone going crazy, sipping margaritas, their swamp ass, right? Graham Mertz still selling shirts. Wonder if he is actually. But I can't wait for this game. I love the fact I get to go Penn State, West Virginia, seamlessly into Miami, Florida, seamlessly into
It's a beautiful thing.
Notre Dame. Texas A&M.
Yeah.
Miami's losing this game, guys. Cam Ward, Miami going out and getting all those guys. It's still a road game at the Swamp, and you're making them dogs? No. Mario Cristobal has got to prove to me he can actually win an important game. I'm all over the Gators here. I might be talked into a lock here. I'm pretty sure, like, I'm going to bet this by the time the game starts. I want to get that 3 though. NC Nick, what are you doing here?
Well, I think this is the first interesting case study of Saturday. This is, the case study on, rent a quarterback / buy a team. Can you be successful? Can you win at a high level? Can you make the college football playoffs going that route? My thought process is I am not buying into the Hurricanes, especially early in the season with a coach that I cannot trust 100% or even 50%. And like you said, the Swamp is still a swamp. I'm all over the Gators here. I'll lock up Florida. I do think they cover and win.
Here's a stat for you. And by the way, this series goes back to 1938. Billy Napier, believe it or not, is 3-0 against top 15 teams in the Swamp. Now he did lose to a ranked Kentucky team in the Swamp. But I think they were 23rd or 24th. My point is though, is top 15 teams 3-0 in the Swamp. This might be the most important game for week 1 because both coaches are going to they're going to have heat regardless of, if Billy Napier loses, Florida fans are going to start saying we got to get rid of him. If Cristobal loses, Miami fans are saying we got to get rid of him. So the heat gets turned up for whoever loses this game. I cannot wait for this game. Patty C, what are you doing here in the Swamp?
When you think about it, everyone's confidence in Miami is probably very much related to those transfers because if you look at their schedule, the last 9 games they played last year, they only won 3 of them, and 2 of the wins were in overtime, and one of those was against Virginia, and they lost, admittedly, against some pretty good teams. Florida, on the other hand, their wins were against McNeese, Charlotte,
Tennessee was one of their top 15
and South
teams.
Carolina. Okay, so
don't forget Tennessee.
5,
yeah,
no, I'm going to throw Tennessee in there. I'm saying 4 of their 5 wins were McNeese, Charlotte, Vandy, and South Carolina. So not exactly elite wins. However, they did keep it close against some pretty good teams that they played: Florida State, Georgia, etc. I'm relying for myself on this as far as program momentum, and I think hype is a factor here. And I think Florida probably doesn't have the confidence that Miami has, even if it's undeserved for Miami. So I think Miami's going to come in this game. They're going to fight. They're going to have a lead, and they're going to pull away late. So give me Miami to cover, and I'm going to lock it up.
Woo! Lock battle. First lock battle of the season. I love it.
Let's go. NC Nick, you're locking this too?
Yes, on Florida, obviously.
I'm with you. Let's do this. Let's battle. Let's go in one quarter. Pick Dundee and NC Nick saying Gator, Gator, Gator. In the other quarter, Patty C saying it's all about the U. I can't wait for that game. I hope I see 15 cheap shots in this game. I want to see. I want to see tons of shit talk.
You're going to see lots of tits, lots of shit talk. It's going to be a great Florida football game.
Oh man, I can't wait for that game. No shoes being thrown. Yeah, hopefully no shoes being thrown. Florida. Although that was, I think I would actually take the shoes being thrown for the humor of it. Next we go to Ames. Don't sleep on the Fighting Hawks. Now they did get kind of rated. Tommy Schuster, their quarterback, heads to Michigan State. They lose a lot on the O-line, but this was an FCS playoff team a year ago, and they're catching 28.5. Look, Iowa State, they can never beat anybody by 28 on purpose. It might happen by accident, but I just can't. I can't lay 20, and I'm getting the hook. I'm sorry. Give me North Dakota State plus 28.5. NC Nick, what are you doing here?
I struggled with this one. Ultimately, I went Iowa State just because I think they're just that much better of a team. But I could definitely see your point. They seem to, they're going to struggle against North Dakota State, then blow out Baylor or something. I leaned Iowa State though.
Patty C.
Again, the only, I guess, comparable competition last year was a road trip to Boise, which may be a more difficult place to play than Iowa State. And they lost by 26 there. Do I think Iowa State's going to cover 28.5? I'm with you, Colby. Give me North Dakota.
Yeah. I know North Dakota's replacing their whole O-line, their quarterback, but I just feel like Iowa State just plays conservatively too. Yeah. They're like a defensive team. All right, we got a heater. I already bet this actually. Syracuse is laying 17. This is a game that goes back to 1916. The Bobcats of Ohio. Their whole team is gone. I think Tim Albin will still get them to a bowl. Go listen to our season preview, of course, but they're heading into that filthy Carrier Dome. The Fran Brown era begins. Oh, I'm excited. All right. I'm laying the 17, lock it up. And I also, Patty C, you talked about DFS plays. I'm all over Kyle Honda McCord on the DFS front. Give me the Orangemen minus 17. Lock it up. They're gonna fuck them up, dude. This is gonna be like 41-7. NC Nick, what are you doing here in the Dome?
Look, Ohio's my MAC team. They're a proud football, program, a proud football town. But they've returned 2 starters on offense and 4 starters on defense. They had like 8 starters. It lost in the portal to Power 4 teams. It's gonna take a while. From what I've seen from Parker Navarro, the quarterback for Ohio, who hasn't played much in his 4-year career, I haven't been that impressed with. Usually, I wouldn't, bet heavy on a favorite with the brand new head coach, but I think Syracuse is going to be solid this year, and I think this is a rebuilding season for Ohio. I will join you with the Orange, and I will lock up minus 17.
Let's go. Look. I'm going to purposely give myself Bob Costas pink eye just to watch this game. Let's go. Patty C, what are you doing here in that filthy Carrier Dome?
You guys are just wrong, okay? For an Ohio State quarterback to transfer out of that gig, it means he's never seeing the field again. And look, Ohio State had the best weapons and has had the best weapons in the world for a long time at the receiver slot. He's not going to have that at Syracuse, and he still didn't put up amazing. He put up decent stats.
Ronnie Gadsden's a projected first round, early second round draft pick.
Sure,
like Kent Allen's pretty good running back too. It's about to run wild on him.
Look, talk all you want about Syracuse. They managed a 6-7 record last year. They lost their bowl game against USF by 45 points.
That was Babers.
Okay, it doesn't matter. Well, you're talking about Fran Brown, who had never even been. What was he? He was the DC for how long? Like 2 years at Georgia.
I don't even think he wasn't the DC.
Coach.
Yeah,
he was the cornerbacks coach. You're pushing this guy up to head coach, and you're expecting them to come out and dominate in week 1 with a new quarterback. And you're talking about a 10-3 team. They may have lost a lot lot of players, Ohio, but this is a program.
No, they lost every player.
Look, next man up. Losing by 17 against a Syracuse team that hasn't proven anything yet. Wrong. I'm on Ohio.
Wow. Okay. You want to battle? You want to put some money there?
Did you lock it up?
I did. Me and Nick locked it up.
We both did.
Okay. Yeah, fuck it. Lock battle. Let's do it.
Woo. All right. Now we are talking.
A lot of people go to college for 7 years.
We got a battle in the filthy Carrier Dome. Pick Dundee, NC Nick laying the 17 with the Qs. Patty C saying Bobcats cover the 17. All right, next we jump to a little rivalry game going back to 1903. The Leathernecks of Western Illinois heading to DeKalb to take on Northern Illinois, the Huskies. This is ridiculous. This is absolutely fucking ridiculous. We should probably bet this too, right? I mean, Northern Illinois, I was on them last year I was on Southern Illinois last year when Southern Illinois came in there and won. This is a historic rivalry. And do I need to remind you that Western leads the series? 35 points? What am I missing here?
Are you missing the fact that Western Illinois hasn't won a game since 2021?
Well. They didn't score more than 7 points for the last half of last season.
Well, what if I told you that Rocky Lombardi is no longer there? All right. What if I told you that Western Illinois went out and brought in every goddamn player in the transfer portal, right? A lot of big time talent coming in.
I'm giving you shit. I am taking the points here, but I'm not going to bet on a team that hasn't won a game since October 30th, 2021. Get out of here.
Buddy, when you go out and you bring in double-digit FBS transfers, all right, and Jefferson Bose from North Carolina is going to be the quarterback there. No, he's actually Western Carolina. My bad. They brought in a shit ton of transfers, though. I'm counting 12 FBS transfers, right? That's a shit ton of talent to your team. You're just throwing in there. They're going to cover 35. Who the fuck is Northern Illinois to be favored by 35 against anybody?
Well, let me tell you who they are to be favored by 35. Western Illinois lost by more than 35, 6 out of the last 7 games of last season. They're terrible. They're terrible. Give me Northern Illinois. Patty Contrarian.
Patty Contrarian. He's saying he is not Patty Chalk. He's Patty Contrarian. I love it, but no, give me the points here.
Patty C, they went and hired a new coach. His name is Joe Davis. All right.
Yeah, even more reason to fade them. Tommy Hammock is a proven commodity, baby. Give me the Huskies.
You got Joe Davis was part of Eastern Illinois last year. All right. So I mean he's familiar with the state. 35 points is ridiculous. Give me the points.
No,
give me the fuck
63-0 against Southern Illinois. So Northern Illinois and
Southern Illinois is better than Northern Illinois. They played last year. We saw that.
What was the final in that one?
Southern Illinois went in their little stinking house and beat them
14-11 or something.
Something like that.
So similar score, and yet Southern Illinois beat the Western Illinois is one of the worst teams in all of football.
No. It's a new year, buddy. You keep diving into last season.
How can they have such a badass name like Leathernecks, but you haven't won a game in 2 years?
Yeah, pathetic. What dog wins this fight? A husky versus a bulldog? What do you think?
Oh,
I'm gonna take the husky.
I think so.
Yeah,
I think the bulldog was bred for fighting, though. I don't know.
No, they can't breathe, dude.
What kind of bulldog? We're talking.
But bulldog will start fighting and have a heart attack. All right?
Heart disease just strikes mid fight.
Have an aorta attack. All right. Next up, we got Miami, Ohio. The Red Hawks heading to Lake Michigan. This doesn't count as Evanston, Illinois. They're playing on Lake Michigan. This is fantastic. This line has came down though over the past few days.
Rightfully so.
Yeah, it's down to 3. Brett Gabbert, the Red Hawks. Series goes back to 1955. Back to the future style. Wrong team favored. Miami, Ohio wins on that filthy stadium there. And I actually kind of like that stadium to tell you the truth. I mean, I love the old stadium, so I don't understand why they got rid of it. But this makeshift stadium there, right on Lake Michigan, quite hilarious. I'm not going to bet this. I don't think I might though. I don't know. I might just get bored and want to watch that entire game. Patty C, what are you doing here?
Oh, well, like we previewed, Brett Gabbert, far and away the best quarterback in the MAC, supposedly coming back. I think Northwestern proved a lot last year. We were all doubting them after Pat Fitzgerald's exit, but they did a great job last year. Still, Miami, Ohio, I'm convinced is an actually pretty good team, which I don't usually give credit to for MAC schools. I think they're all usually gravitate toward relatively average, but Miami stands out as a pretty good program. And I think you're right. Wrong team favored. Give me the Red Hawks on the road. Straight up.
NC Nick.
Well, if you bet the over on the amount of games where an FCS team beats an FBS team, which I believe was at 6.5, and there's already one obviously with Montana State beating New Mexico, but I think you have to circle this game. But I want to go with the home team, and I'm going to lay the small number here. I don't know. This is a coin flip. Miami of Ohio's had success against Northwestern in the past. Could they win this? Sure. I'm going to go Northwestern, but I'm staying out of it. I'm not touching this.
Miami, Ohio's not an FCS team, buddy. How many cocktails deep are you?
Group of 5 FCS, same thing.
Good point. Who was the team that the FCS team that would beat Northwestern recently? I'm thinking
Southern Illinois did.
Oh yeah. Okay. Geez. Wow. Okay. I'll still go Northwestern.
Well, I don't got rain cold, but they're counting.
Yeah, I mean, Mr. Maction too. I feel like you've done, I'm pretty sure you've been into Jagerbaum Stadium and sniffed glue in the parking lot.
Yeah, maybe if this podcast was on a Tuesday night, I'd be feeling the Maction more, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know where my brain went there.
Cloud brain happens to us
just
all.
cut that out of the show there, Colby.
Maction's already over by Wednesday.
All right, next up, NC Nick. Well, you better get ready for this one. This is a fucking rivalry here. Old school. SoCon rivalry. They've been playing since 1928. Johnson City to Boone. How far is that trip, NC Nick?
Maybe 90 minutes.
App State's laying 35. This is ridiculous. This line's ridiculous. East Tennessee State brings in Trey Lamb, the Gardner-Webb head coach, who brought his whole goddamn team over. Gardner-Webb was an FCS playoff team last year.
Didn't play Gardner-Webb last year?
Yeah, what was that score?
I'll try to pull it up here.
Because the difference is he brings in like 50 to 60% of his roster, I feel like, from Gardner-Webb. And then ETSU was spending a little bit in the FCS ranks.
That was 45-24.
That's what I'm saying. I'm locking this shit. Because East Tennessee State has more talent. They had more talent on their roster. Gardner-Webb can't recruit like East Tennessee State. This is too many fucking points, man. This is too many points for a rivalry game. And they got Clemson on deck.
Yeah. I wanted to lean App here, but I think I agree with you. I mean, I'm not gonna lock it.
I'm locking this. Give me the Buccaneers plus 35. Let's go.
Things definitely got stale though. I mean, at ETSU, I mean, they won just 3 wins each of the last 2 seasons, and they got whipped bad late last year. I mean,
but that's why they brought in Lamb, though.
Yeah, but it might take them a little while to get it going. Ultimately, I agree with you, but I'm not betting it.
How you guys are? I mean, I'm tempted to follow you guys because you guys have a closer finger on the pulse of App State than I do. But ETSU got whooped a bunch last year.
But last year has nothing to do with it.
And you guys are confident that App State is, probably Sun Belt champions this year, if I'm not mistaken.
No,
right?
I have Texas State.
But at least in the Sun Belt championship
game. But it's all about the spot. You have Clemson on deck.
Week 1.
Yes.
App State is. Yeah, I mean, I guess I don't think App State's already in look ahead mode. They're in win the game that's right in front of them. Everyone's frothing at the mouth for week 1. No one's looking ahead in week 1. Maybe like 1 or 2 teams that have really huge games. Like maybe Michigan's looking ahead to Texas or vice versa. But
I can tell you this: East Tennessee State's looking forward to this more than App State's looking forward to this.
That's fair.
Sure, that's true. But I just think App State is a far better team. But you know what? I'm going to follow you guys. I'm going to trust your instincts on App State.
What are you talking about? I'm betting East Tennessee State.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm going to go with East Tennessee State.
And by the way, just for EB or who said that? Trent, look right there. Yeah, I'm seeing 34.5 right now. All right. You see that right there?
Let's not argue half the point. I mean,
he's saying he's not seeing the line anywhere. I mean, I made the slides like 4 hours ago. It was 35 then. Do you think I'm fucking lying about a half a point? I'm locking up East Tennessee State.
All right.
Look, Trey Lamb has coached Gardner-Webb to the FCS playoffs the past 2 years, and once again, this is what I think more than ever, Patty C. It's irrelevant to me to quote last season when you bring in a new coach where you can bring Texas State last season is the perfect example. You can't even say it with Dion because Dion only brought 5 guys from Jackson State. Texas State brought 30 guys from Incarnate Word. Well, Trey Lamb is doing that by bringing 30 guys from Gardner-Webb to East Tennessee State.
Soon enough, we're going to have it's going to be a crapshoot because a lot of coaches bring a lot of players over. I would say, generally speaking, the more players you bring over, probably the more likely you are to have a good first year. But I think it's kind of a crapshoot. And you just got through saying that ETSU was the more talented team than the team he transferred over from. So he's bringing players that are inferior.
Yes, because Gardner-Webb's in the Big South. ETSU has been a rich program, not the past 2 years, but in general, they spend more money. Hence him taking the job is my point. So they have better athletes. They just were a shitty. They were a shitty coach team.
So what I'm saying is, if he's bringing inferior Gardner Webb athletes over to, I mean, are these guys even going to see the field? I'd be lying if I had done a deep dive on ETSU preseason. All I know is you guys have been high on App State all season, and ETSU got rocked 4 times by 31 points or more last year against far inferior talent than App State. They lost by 46 to
But Gardner Webb covered this number.
Okay. Well, then.
And so my point to Trent in the chat, yes, Trent, 35 is a key number, but my point is that if there's a 35 out there, then somebody could easily find a 34.5, maybe at another book. So my point is that, what you see on the screen here, if you go to different books, you might see a half point or a point difference depending on where you go.
Especially when I made the slides like at lunch.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like
that's what I'm saying. Don't get bent out of shape if the screen says it's a half point off than what you're looking at, because there might be a little bit of differences.
In the future, I'll see if Noah can just constantly move the number. He can stare at a screen and just constantly move the number.
Real time. Oh, come on.
No, I tell you what. Joey Aguilar, right? 3,757 passing yards, 33 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. This guy is playing for Conference Player of the Year this year, and he's going to put up a great showing week 1. I'm going Mountaineers.
All right. I'm betting East Tennessee State plus 35. Let's go. Next, we're going to Lincoln. I've been wanting this line to go to 28 forever, but it never has. The whole goddamn summer, it hasn't gone to 28. UTEP. You would think with all the hype after the spring game with Raiola, it would go to 28. UTEP is kind of like it's fitting that they follow East Tennessee State, because Scotty Walden brought in a bunch of his guys from Austin Peay. At 27.5, I'm still taking UTEP, but this is no lock. I'm kind of fascinated by watching this game, though. NC Nick, what are you doing here at Memorial Stadium there in Lincoln, Nebraska?
I will take the points also. I need to see it first from the new, 5-star hotshot freshman quarterback. Last year, 35 points was the most Nebraska scored in a game. So again, I think UTEP is, gets on the board here. I think they scored maybe 14 or so. So I think UTEP will cover. Nebraska wins.
Patty C, what are you doing here?
I'm with you guys. I will say this about Dylan Raiola. His dad was a center. How often do you see a center's son end up being a 5-star number 1 quarterback in the nation? I can't remember any off the top of my head, but it might mean that he's got a advanced knowledge of the line of scrimmage, reading a defense. That's projecting. But first game for Raiola, I think UTEP has proven they're a better team than 27.5. I would like to see it at 28, but I'm still going Miners.
Yeah, I want it to be. Shout out to the chat. A bunch of people are saying they love UTEP. I want to bet UTEP. If this thing goes to 28, I'm pulling the trigger. Pulling the trigger on that. I'll tell you that right there.
I'm just trying to limit my bets on first year head coaches in their first game ever. That's why I'm not going to touch it.
Fair, folks. If you're watching on YouTube, stay put. Not going anywhere. But on the audio side, make sure you check out the B side where we talk about the rest of the games going on Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. Make sure you give Patty C a follow on Twitter at PattyC831. NC Nick's on Twitter at NC__NICK. I'm on Twitter at DColbyD. The College Football Experience is on Twitter at TCE on SGPN. And YouTube.com/The College Experience. Check out part 2. All right, we are back on the College Football Experience. Head in the middle of just handicapping a shit ton of games. It feels so good to be in the middle of a shit ton of games. Just handicapping games, picking winners left and right. YouTube.com/The College Experience as you're rolling with the College Football Experience. Pick Dundee, Patty C, NC Nick. We just got done talking UTEP, Nebraska, and this goes chronologically based on time. So if you're just tuning in, go listen to part A. We talk about your side A. We talk about the earlier games there. Next up, we are going. Is this guy fucking turning on his blender? Huh? She making a shake?
Look, I got a whole collection of fucking brewskis here I got to get rid of to bring on number 4. We're going hard in the paint here. Week 1 is calling.
What kind of brewskis you working with there?
Oh, a little Allagash White. You wouldn't know anything about it.
Oh, I know Allagash White. Okay.
Yeah, I don't like the whites when it comes to those beers. You know, like any of that blonde white shit. I don't. Give me. I would take give me any other type of beer. You know what I mean?
You know,
I hate like a fucking Hefeweizen. Horrible.
I'm not a big fan of the wheat beers either.
Hefeweizen. I would rather drink a Zima. Shout out to David Matola. I'd rather drink a Zima than a fucking Hefeweizen.
Allagash, plenty of sugar in this shit, but it's still like so not Blue Moon.
I was gonna say I hate Blue Moon. Allagash White is at least a good version of that style of beer, even though I don't like the style.
Yeah, you won't catch me drinking any of that shit.
I've been on Guinness Stout for a hot minute, but
love Guinness though.
Gotta switch it up.
The only thing worse than Blue Moon was the other one by Anheuser-Busch, Shock Top.
Oh, Shock Top. Ass.
Fucking awful.
I don't fuck with any of those things, man. All right, I like my beers. I like anything south of the border, beer wise or Asian, all fucking phenomenal.
Cervezas, you know what I mean? Fucking piss. Like, let's be honest. I don't know. I mean,
any cerveza or just you're saying any cerveza? No.
Any what category of beer is like a
Mexican lager?
Yeah, a Mexican any lager. I mean, lagers in general are just piss. So that's why
it's got a taste. It's got a taste. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All right, we got about 80 more games to pick here.
Look, a Mexican lager tastes like Merrimack and Air Force. It's beautiful on a fucking Saturday.
Is fucking delicious. Pacifico is delicious.
That's what I'm saying. Sapporo, all that shit. Give me that. All that Asian shit is fantastic.
That's true.
Except Tsingtao. I didn't really like Tsingtao. But anyway, Merrimack's catching 30.5. NC Nick, how many people do you think on Merrimack's had a Tsingtao beer before?
Probably not a whole lot.
I'm taking the points. Air Force replacing a ton. Give me the points, and the Warriors come out to play. What are you doing here, Patty C?
I'm tempted to agree with you. I think we've I'm tempted to disagree with you actually. For as much crap as we've given Air Force and how they're just playing their hand close to their chest, and we've just learned Air Force is a pretty good program, and they're probably 4 touchdowns or more, 5 touchdowns better than Merrimack most years. Obviously, we're expecting less from them this year, but still, week 1, I think they do pretty well.
All right, you're laying that number. I'm taking that. Obviously, 31 would be better, but NC Nick, what are you doing here?
Yeah, Merrimack is relatively new to the FCS, and I think this is their first game against an FBS opponent ever, or at least in recent years since they've joined the FCS. So I don't know if they're ready for this. I'm going to go Air Force and lay the points.
Shout out to Robert Martin, hell of a good guy, saying Air Force to the Mountain West Championship. All right, next we're going to Patty C's boy.
This is an interesting game.
Curt Cignetti hosting Mike McIntyre and the Florida International Panthers, the airport, in a series that goes back to 2015. Who knew these teams would meet up so often? I think this is game 5 in a decade or something. Indiana's laying 22. That's too many points for me. I think FIU's flying under the radar. Pitt Bowl Stadium, start playing this goddamn music now. I would if I wouldn't get sued. Give me the points. NC Nick, what are you doing here?
I think I agree. I think it'll take at least a few games for Cignetti to get things rolling with the Hoosiers. I'll say this is maybe a touchdown, too many points. I'll go with the Panthers. Or are we just calling them the Pit Bulls now?
Yeah, the Pit Bulls.
Let's just change it up.
What was their old name again? It was like the Sun Blazers. They got to go back to that name. That was too offensive for the great people of Florida. They got rid of Sun Blazers.
Panthers is so blah. It's like,
Yeah.
I mean, the Panthers.
Well, I think it's, obviously there's the Florida Panthers, which are also located out of Miami in the NHL. I think the Florida Panther is like a regional thing there. And notice that it's golden, just like the Florida Panthers thing. It's a regional thing, Nick.
Okay.
Colby.
Take word for it.
I didn't question it. I mean, I do like the Sun Blazers better. That's what they went away from.
Definitely cool.
Yeah.
I'm going to agree with you guys. I think that's probably too many points for Indiana to cover in game 1 for Cignetti. But as we all know, look him up. All he does is win. So.
Classic statements there. Oh, whoa. Oh, we got 35 on Western Illinois. Look at that. What was my guy's name in the chat? I don't see a 35 out there. What the hell is this? 35's out there. All right, you got to shop around.
Good job, Noah.
Thank you, Noah. Appreciate you, buddy. Next up, this is a barn burner. I can't believe this is the nationally televised game that CBS is putting out there.
Unbelievable.
You fucking losers.
Really?
This is the fucking nationally televised game they're throwing out there. Fucking a kangaroo in fucking Ohio. Get the hell out of here.
Kangaroo and a nut.
Yeah. The Akron Zips are catching 48.5 at legendary Ohio Stadium there. I'll lay it.
Yeah, me too.
I'll lay it. I actually think I think Ohio State might get the over by themselves. 58.5.
Yeah.
This might be 63-0, 63-3. What a shit ass game they're force feeding. I'm so glad that back in the day we'd be forced to watch this, Nick. Remember when we got stuck?
Yeah.
We got stuck with like Florida State with Bobby Bowden against Maryland when they were complete ass. We're just watching 65.
Thank God we have options. I'll lay the points also. I think it's like 56-6 or something.
Wait, your confidence in Joe Moorhead has suddenly waned?
Against Ohio State? Yes.
Fair enough. Yeah, I'm with you. It'll probably be somewhere in the 60s for Ohio State and pretty easy cover. It's almost locked.
I almost
in
think
fact, I will lock it.
Woo! Just a cool 48.5. Patty C said no problem. Patty C locking up Ohio State minus the points.
What was that? 2-10 last year. All of the hype around Joe Moorhead has failed to materialize to this point. So, and it's certainly not going to happen against Ohio State, who's out on a mission this year to get it done.
Yeah. This is
Colby. What do you think the largest number you ever bet is?
Laying?
Yeah.
I did bet,
or getting for that matter.
I did bet Oklahoma minus 43 Friday night.
I guess 48.5, just one more touchdown. I mean, what's that?
I'm pretty sure I took Vandy minus the points at Hawaii a couple years ago. What was that, like 40?
Yeah.
And they won 56-10, I think, if memory serves me correct.
I mean, Will Howard is going to have to step it up to. I don't know if he's ever won a game by 49 points, but he's never had the talent at his disposal that he does now.
Yeah. Folks,
I really hope Ohio State wins 49-0 and Patty C catches that bet.
I hope he gets I hope he gets the worst of the number and gets 49. and it's just a push. And you watch that whole shit fest just for that. Folks, I want to tell you that the College Football Experience, part of the Sports Gambling Podcast Network, right now everything is 10% off in the merch store because it's football season. Merry football. Go get yourself a Patty C t-shirt. All right. And Eat Shit Pitt t-shirt, a college baseball experience t-shirt, a sports gambling podcast t-shirt, an old fashioned football contest, or old fashioned, old fashioned podcast t-shirt, or a Bottom Line Bombs t-shirt. All that shit's out there. You can get a pick done. How about the We Believe ECU shirts? Those things. I'll just. There's nothing that you couldn't do, like getting on over to the SGPN merch store and using 10% off everything in the store. Look at that fire SGPN. So, true story. I wore that shirt on the far left. It was a different color. I wore it down to Columbia, right? And I don't know how it happened, but I was FaceTiming. We were FaceTiming my wife's parents. And her dad's wearing my shirt, right? I left it down there. It was brand new, but still, that thing is fire. It travels beyond America. All right, go get some Dundee-isms. Those things are off fire. All right, don't fade the troops. You gotta love that. Who doesn't love that shirt? Get on over there. Promo code football. All right, we are back. Patty sees he's made his drink in his blender. All right.
Made a little pina colada, a little pineapple wedge in there.
Let's head over to, it's the first game ever for the Kennesaw State Owls in the FBS as they head to that. Unfortunately, it's got to be a horrible experience to play your first FBS game at the filthy Alamo Dome fucking former NBA stadium. You fucking losers.
Home of the greatest center in the 90s, certainly. David
Moses
Robinson.
Malone. Uwe Blab. Kennesaw's catching 25. The over-under's at 49.5. Give me the points. Too many points. Kennesaw redshirted a bunch of guys. 25 is a big number. Give me like a 42-21 final, something like that. NC Nick, what are you doing here?
I agree. I'll take the points too. All I know is that when I've seen UTSA and whenever I saw them and Frank Captain Harris wasn't playing, they did not look very good. So I'm still curious on how they're going to replace him. Whether it's Eddie Lee Marburger, whether it's what's
Eddie Lee Marburger was named the starter.
There you go. I mean,
hard to fade him.
True. I hope he succeeds on his name alone, because he certainly sounds like a serial killer from Wisconsin or something.
How much pussy has Eddie Lee Marburger ran through in on the Riverwalk? All right, you go down to San Antonio, you hit the Riverwalk, you run into Eddie Lee Marburger. He's fucking in his vet. The vet always gets the women wet. You know what I mean?
He's up in the tower shooting, and then he's scoring ass.
Yeah, give me the points.
Yeah, Patty C, what are you doing here?
You know, my temptation was to lean UTSA. Obviously, they're the far more established program. Kennesaw, sometimes it doesn't work out moving up in the rankings, but they played some pretty good teams decently close last year. So I think they were able to keep it. I mean, what's the one that stands out? Sam Houston, they only lost by 3-2 last year. So a lot of transition happening at UTSA. Maybe Kennesaw does cover 25.
Yes. And shout out to Suki in here saying, you guys normally do favorite bets. Yes, we do. We've already been hitting a bunch of these. So jump on over here. Subscribe to the College Football Experience, youtube.com/the College Experience. So Patty C laying the big number. Me and NC Nick taking the 25 with the Kennesaw. No.
I'm taking it. I'm taking Kennesaw.
All right, there we go. I'm kind of intrigued to watch that one. Next up, we are going to Future Mac Classic. It's a non-con game this year, but next year the McGurk will be rocking for this conference game. This is crossed over. This game is crossed. No, it's crossed over 0. This line is crossed over 0. UMass is going to win this game, I think. You got Cole Snyder's Pretzels transferring in from Buffalo via Rutgers to Eastern Michigan. He's going on the road to the McGurk, which has got to be a scary sight. Don Brown in year 3. Fumacha Khan back at the quarterback spot. They still have Anthony Simpson, the wideout. And who's that other wideout? Frank Ladson Jr. they brought in. UMass going to hit that over, and it starts right here. They beat New Mexico State week 1. New Mexico State went on to win 10 games, beat Auburn. They're taking down my boys from Ypsilanti. NC Nick, what are you doing here?
I disagree. I'm going to go with the better coach. I'm going to take the points. Eastern Michigan.
Patty C? Kind of flip a coin on this one. Eastern Michigan beat them by 2 last year in Ypsilanti. So is there a huge advantage for UMass at home? Probably
You're goddamn
not.
Right, there is.
No, I did College Football Campus Tour say, or someone said this is the shittiest stadium.
That wannabe, and I completely disagree with that fucking hack saying
this
is the worst stadium.
Football.
Yeah, don't confuse the two. All right.
Either way, this is voted most game that nobody's going to watch for the weekend.
Probably.
This will be on one of our TVs here. Don't worry. At SGPN Studios, we're going to have this thing on.
Let me tell you what. Slam the under.
I do like the under.
Yeah,
Don Brown, year 3. All right.
The idea that both teams will score in the 4 touchdown range, ridiculous. Neither is capable of that, even in one game, most games. So, but I am going to take Eastern Michigan to cover.
Ooh, there we go. I'm on an island with UMass, huh?
I see Noah getting lots of love in the chat, deservedly so. Noah, I think you can jump in whenever you want. I don't know. I don't think I have to say that, but feel free if you got to
get in here, Noah. Let's go.
Man.
Yeah, you're a Michigan. You're a Michigan guy. All right, the LeBaron has been to Ypsilanti plenty of times to pick up a few ladies coming outside of the factory.
We might have to have Noah do his Michigan power rankings after week 1.
Yeah,
that's a segment.
Yeah. I'm actually curious what his Michigan power rankings are right now. I'm sure he's got blue number 1.
Blue number 1.
He might have Western Michigan number 2 above Michigan State. I'm curious, but he's a Tommy Schuster guy. He's a Tommy Schuster guy. I don't know. He's having.
What would you go? Central Michigan, then Eastern? That's kind of a
no.
Yes.
No.
I think I would.
No. Don't you disrespect you Ohio Bobcats.
You just picked UMass to beat them.
Well, because UMass is good. They're changing the ways of UMass. All right.
UMass.
And look, Lane Gretzky is spot on right. This game is way more watchable than Akron, Ohio State. I agree.
1,000%. The fact that the line crossed 0, it should be a fucking dynamite game to watch.
That was a classic that Noah's dad has been on the cover of Playboy.
I missed that story. I'm going to need to go back and get that one.
Folks, before we get to the next game, I want to tell you that the college football experience is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Underdog Fantasy Pickup gives you a chance to win 1,000 times the amount of money you enter, or play fantasy football the right way with Best Ball. Yes, Best Ball Mania is live with $15 million in prizes. You can now use specials and boost on all flexed entries as well. We dropped an episode. They just dropped college football best ball. I mean, we did an episode covering this. Go check it out. NC Nick, Moneyline Mac, killing it on this very feed. So hop on over to Underdog Fantasy. Sign up with the promo code TCESGPN to claim your special pick plus first time deposit offer up to $1,000 in bonus cash. UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code TCESGPN. All right. Shout out to Jeff Sharp in the chat. Good to see Jeff in here too.
Giving Oakland club football a little shout out.
Oh, I like that. Oakland
hating on Western. Hating on Western too. I mean, there's a backstory there. There's a reason. Yeah. I think
old Linda from Kalamazoo.
Old Linda in Kalamazoo shut him down.
Some little Bronco broke his heart.
Too many liquor pitchers at Waldo's. All right. Anyway. Is Noah currently housing Eddie Lee Marburger in that unfinished basement? It's under investigation. All right, next up we go to. We got a little game here. Now, this line opened up at like 36 or 35.5. It's down to 32. Jay Norvell, Colorado State, year 3. Are they contenders in the Mountain West? They head down to Austin. I believe they're calling for rain in this game. 60.5 is the total. I fucked up that little hash mark there. And then Texas laying 32. Man, give me Colorado State. 32 is a big number. Texas, they had the worst. They had like a bottom 10 pass defense. Colorado State runs the air raid. All right. Show me that you can. We saw what Wyoming did. It was 10-10 in the 4th. All right, they did pull away and win by 21, but still, I think Colorado State can stay within this number. NC Nick, what are you doing here?
Yeah, I am worried about the Rams' ability to stop the run. I think Texas runs wild on them,
and the rain will hurt that air raid some.
Yeah, true. I want to take the points here. I mean, I'm high on Colorado State. I think they can compete for a Mountain West title, and there's a lot of new faces in Austin that might take a couple weeks to get clicking. So I'm not going to touch this, but my lean would be the Rams.
Patty C, what are you doing here?
Who did Colorado State? No, who was it that Oklahoma played really close? What was it? Wyoming? One of these.
No, Texas and Wyoming was 10-10 in the 4th last year.
Okay, and then did Oklahoma play someone close out of the group of 5 or out of the Mountain West too? I'm drawing a blank. All I know is.
Think so.
Okay, I just have the feeling that the group of 5 is a little closer to these supposed former Big 12 blue bloods than most realized. Maybe Texas pulls away late. Still, 32 is a huge number, and I think Colorado State is bound to improve. Obviously, you guys a couple of years ago said Jay Norvell was gonna come out the gates with all his recruits transferring in. There's an example of a guy who brought in a bunch of recruits that it's going to take a little time.
That is true. That is true.
But year 2, they were a much better team, and I think year 3 we're going to finally see Colorado State emerge into the team that they planned on being when they brought in Jay Norvell, and I think that's going to be a little hard on Texas. I do think that Texas has a few players to replace. However, I think at the quarterback position, God, I'm drawing on a blank on his name now. Ewers, yeah. I think he'll have a fine game. It'll be close to 32, but I got Colorado State covering.
There we go, and that series goes back to 1975. Next we go. This game they've never played before, but goddamn, if these teams won a lot in the FCS, they've beat some big boys. Remember when Georgia Southern never threw a pass, went into the swamp and whooped their ass? Boise State,
awesome game.
This is a low key awesome game, and I'm going to bet this. I've already bet this actually, so I'm lying to you. Georgia Southern's covering this game. I think they're live, guys. They always start off good in September under Clay Helton. Then they fall apart. 13.5 is too much. It's too much. Give me Georgia Southern plus the points. And look, shop around. I saw 14s out there in the past week. Shop around. I don't know that there's a 14 out right now, but I'm just saying you might want to just cover your options there. Over under set at 56.5. I'm locking up Georgia Southern with the points. Boise State might win, but this is gonna be hot as fuck there in Statesboro. Shout out to my guy Clay. Long trip. And I just think that line's a little too much. NC Nick, what are you doing here?
Yeah, the home dog is awful tempting. I haven't bet this yet. I wasn't going to lock it up, but I mean, you might have just swayed me for all the reasons that you mentioned. And Georgia Southern's good at home. They were 5-1 straight up in Statesboro last year. Last 2 years, they've been 4-2 ATS, at home. I think it's too many points also. And the heat, I love fading some of these teams that are going down to the dirty South where it's hot and humid. So, you know what? I'll ride with you. Play that music again.
Now we're talking. Locking up, double lock on Georgia Southern plus the 13.5. Sprinkle a little bit on that money line. I'm with money line Mac over here.
There's been people in the chat wanting a lock party again. Who was Jenna? Is that her name? She wanted to hear that music. Patty C.
Here's why I hesitate.
Keep talking.
Georgia State lost their last 5 games last year. Boise State
they do that every year. They do that every year.
Boise
Go look
State
at the year before. Go look at the year before. That happens every year.
Maybe that's actually a feather in your cap. Is that they're
that's my point. That's a strong part of my handicap.
Yeah. Either way, generally speaking, teams that finished poorly the year before start off the year on a little bit shakier ground, so they figure out and get their confidence back. Boise State, meanwhile, won 4 of their last 5. Obviously, lost the Rose Bowl or the bowl game against UCLA. Only a pretty good game there, but 13.5 seems like a little too much on that far of a road trip. However, Boise has gone all over the country in pretty hot environments. In August in DC, they went down to Tallahassee. I guess the trip to Atlanta was in a dome, so that doesn't really count. I don't think the heat necessarily is going to be a factor that
lost at Memphis last year.
But again, I think you want Boise as a dog.
Lost at UCF.
No, it's that's true. I guess those have all been situations where they've been the dog. Even though against Virginia Tech, they were the higher ranked team. I think they were 3. Virginia Tech was 10. But Virginia Tech may have still been. That was like 15 years ago, so whatever. But still, it's the DNA of the program. I just think Georgia Southern. I think I agree with you guys. That's a few too many points. That's all it is.
You locking?
No.
All that talk for no lock. Jeez.
Given an analysis.
I can't talk to this son of a bitch.
Sorry,
I can't
Jenna.
talk to that son of a bitch. I really can't.
All right, next up, and that's a double lock. Me and NC Nick on Boise. Nick, I'm taking I'm sprinkling a little bit on the money line. You hitting that money line at all?
No, I don't think so.
You coward.
I've locked some stuff. Don't you worry. I'll lock some more. You want some locks? I'll throw some locks.
Well, Patty C, here's your boy, part of the Royal Rivalry, Old Dominion, heading into Columbia, South Carolina. Shane Beamer, Virginia, his son of a Virginia legend. They're laying 21 against ODU. Freshman quarterback starting, or redshirt freshman quarterback. Give me ODU in the points. I'm not ready to just throw away 3 touchdowns with Ricky Roundy's bunch. Do I feel good about this game? No, I don't. But I'll take the points. NC Nick, what are you doing here?
Yeah, ditto. I don't feel great about it, but I will also take the points. I think Ricky Roundy's a good coach. If he could somehow keep his roster intact and not get rated via the portal every year, maybe you would see ODU, emerge into like a top tier Sunbelt team. But in the meantime, I think they're plucky enough to stay close with the Gamecocks.
Patty C?
Yeah, I mean, losing Spencer Rattler in the offseason, a little bit of a hit. Lenora Sellers, the new quarterback, does look like Superman. physically, but it remains to be seen how how he plays on the field. So I think you guys are right. Old Dominion is the pick, -21 or plus 21.
And for the record, I prefer Patty C as less insightful and more trigger happy.
Jamie Ho. Shout out to
Let
DFS
me get a few more
Jamie Ho.
drinks here, and I'll get less insightful for you.
That's how I like my Patty C.
Next up, we are going to the likes of Huntington, West Virginia, the Joan C. Edwards Stadium, as Marshall is hosting the Stony Brook Seawolves. I mean, what a weird game. And the fuck is that? I think most people are saying that, and some people are saying,
I know the human being and fish can coexist peacefully.
31 is the line here. I got no idea on this game. This might be the worst game of the whole weekend, actually, the more I think about it. Give me Stony Brook plus 31. NC Nick, what are you doing here?
I lay the points. I think Stony Brook was winless last year. I don't know. Yeah, give me the herd.
10. But I'll give this to Stony Brook.
Though. New coach there.
In Stony Brook's losing efforts, they were never shut out. They were only held to single digits one time. So whoever's coordinating that offense at Stony Brook is able to put up some points. And I don't know that Marshall is able to, crank out 45 consistently. So I'm going to roll Stony Brook to cover 31.
I'm with you. Next, we're going to a game that's been played since 1888. Holy shit. What was going on in this country in 1888? God damn, was that Ulysses S. Grant still fighting? I feel like that's pretty damn close. What was that? 15 years, 20 years removed from the Civil War. Berkeley, California. First ACC game for your boys of the California Golden Bears, NC Nick.
That's right.
UC Davis and Tim Plow, the new head coach after Dan Hawkins retired.
Are these the two most liberal schools in the country? I think UC Davis may be more liberal than Cal.
Really? That's a strong take.
My thesis advisor in college went to UC Davis, and it was like, I mean, this chick is every stereotype you could ever fucking imagine. So I had an early impression of UC Davis. And Cal, obviously, its established reputation is well established. So I don't know. To me, Northern California, a granola bowl here. That's what this is. That's what this game should be called.
I like this, the granola bowl. UC Davis versus Cal, the granola bowl. We got to bring back some of those old school bowl games too. You know what I mean? Like there's the refrigerator bowl. There's a slew of these ones. The salad bowl. UC Davis is catching 20.5. This one's actually one where it was 20. Like if you can get 3 touchdowns, I'll take UC Davis. But at 20.5, give me Cal. If this thing goes to 21, 22, I think you take UC Davis because they're not a horrible FCS. So I'm going to lay it with Cal. Anything less than 3 touchdowns, I'll lay it with Cal. If it gets to 3 touchdowns, take UC Davis. NC Nick, what are you doing here?
Yeah, I agree. I'm kind of high on Cal and Jay Knott, their running back. I think he has a big day against UC Davis here. Give me Cal.
Keith Landry cracking me up. Patty C, what are you doing here?
Look, UC Davis, like you said, a pretty darn good FCS program last year, 7-4. Playing against decent competition.
They have a fucking white running back who's a beast. We were watching him last year, Petty C. I'm drawing a blank on his name right now. He's actually
oblivion.
He's a beast though.
Christian McCaffrey.
Lan Larison.
Speaking of Northern,
he had fucking 1,100 yards, 13 touchdowns on the ground. But I believe he also kicked ass in the air too. He's like a poor man's Christian McCaffrey here.
Lan Larison. Okay.
Yeah. Keep an eye out from out of Caldwell, Idaho, home of Idaho College University.
That's right. We know that now.
Yeah. So watch out for Lan Larison. But yeah, I'm taking Cal. Patty C, what are you doing here?
Let me see. UC Davis really competitive in most of their games last year. However, they did get rocked 55-7 against Oregon State last year. Granted, Oregon State did beat Cal 52-40. So still, that suggests that Cal is able to cover 20.5 at home. Give me the Golden Bears.
Nate is saying that Stanford is the top one.
is the top.
Yeah, is the team
Top
that should be
granola
hosting
team?
the granola bowl.
Oh, that's true. There's a lot of granola going on up there.
Maybe
It's a
somebody will have to
clusterfuck.
make a power rankings there too.
I want
That's
a
right.
granola bowl though. You better hope I never win like the fucking lottery, because I will do some stupid shit like that. Talk about saving planet Earth. I believe this is how you save planet Earth. Give me a granola bowl. Give me a refrigerator bowl. There's a lot of cool shit that we could do with the bowl games.
Damn right.
Next up we go to. That's true. The Ivy League did cancel their whole entire season, basketball and football. Mobile, Alabama. The Jaguars of South Alabama are hosting.
Wait.
What?
When did that? Are we talking about COVID or this
COVID?
year?
Yeah.
Okay,
No.
okay.
No.
Yeah. You scared me
Tex-
there for a second.
North Texas is at South Alabama. South Alabama is laying 5. I'm taking South Alabama. Major Applewhite, the new head coach there, he takes over the reins after Kane Womack heads to Alabama. Eric Morris in year 2 at North Texas. I don't know. Give me South Alabama. Their home edge. They have good fans there at Hancock Witness Stadium. No bet on this one. I'm not touching this one. NC Nick, what are you doing here?
No, I'll take the points. I think anything more than a field goal is too much for a team with a new head coach, new quarterback, only 7 returning starters, on both sides of the ball combined, just 1 on the offensive line, 1 on the defensive line. I can't get behind that. I'm not betting this, but give me the points.
Patty C.
Northwestern, a pretty prolific offense last year. I don't know that they scored less than 24 points the entire season last year.
Say Northwestern.
Or North Texas, rather. the good people in Denton, Northwestern, similar quality programs. I don't know though. I think I'm with you guys. South Alabama has been a good enough program that they'll cover 5 at home.
Yeah. Next up, we saw Norfolk State week 0. You had your shot at glory, all right, and you folded, and now you got to come down.
But they covered.
They did cover, but I didn't take them. So this is a classic look ahead with that. What do they have? What does ECU have? At Old Dominion on deck. Just all Virginia Beach area teams
Trying to dominate the 757. I don't think so.
We got
not
the
so
Flaming
fast,
Libs.
my friend.
No, if Old Dominion is your look ahead spot, you're not a good program.
Really? Virginia Tech has never won at Old Dominion.
Touche.
Folks, I love ECU, but they're going to phone this in. And the fact Norfolk State has their starting quarterback suspended, but the backup looked all right last week. He didn't look horrible. ECU is going to win this game 38-7. And Norfolk State will cover. But at the same time,
Because when you're at East Carolina, you go for it every time. Or you don't coach at East Carolina, you don't come to East Carolina, you don't play at East Carolina with a weak heart. Write it.
Colby's son was made to that music.
Definitely, we keep that on.
Procreated to that.
We can
music.
only when we drive around, we can only listen to that song. No, I think Norfolk State is going to cover by a point. 38-7 final. It's 38-0. Mike Houston doesn't run it up. 38-7. Norfolk State's the play here. NC Nick, what are you doing?
Yeah, give me the points.
Patty C.
My only trepidation, if you will, is that Norfolk State kept most of their games close last year. However, they did lose at Temple by 32. So I think ECU is a better program than Temple. I'm going to go ECU here.
Oh, it's easy to see a tide turn. All right, folks, look, before we get to the next game, I want to tell you that the college football experience is part of the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. And we're brought to you by Rhythm. Have you ever wanted to create your own sports betting model for football? Do you even know what a sports betting model is? SGPN's proud partner Rhythm is the #1 AI-powered sports betting platform that helps provide bettors of all levels the ability to build custom predictive betting models in seconds and get predictions for, betting on money lines, spreads, totals, props. You can copy one of the top models that's on the leaderboard. You can just straight up copy that and see if that hits next week. All right. or you could build your own. All right, and press the build model and things that you like. Rhythm will then build that and adapt their projections around that. Rhythm gives you predictions for every game and player prop, and they've got a slew of stats, research, and trend analysis to give you even more betting insight. The Rhythm college football model loved Delaware State, much like us. Me and NC Nick, we're all over Delaware State plus the 40.5, and it cashed. All right, build your own model today and get ready for week 1 college football. Claim your free 7-day trial period today by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. That's RITHMM. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. All right, we are back. And there's just a few more games there. Eastern Kentucky is heading into Stark Vegas.
There's more than a few. We got a bunch left.
All right, let's hurry this fucking thing up. Eastern Kentucky. I'm on the points. I actually think the over will cash though. The over is the best play if you're going to bet this. I'm not betting this. NC Nick, what are you doing here?
Yeah, give me the points also. I mean, they played Kentucky tight last year. Again, you got new coach, new quarterback. I think it's too many points.
Yeah, Petty C, what are you doing here?
I'll roll with you guys. I don't have a great analysis on this game, but it does seem like Eastern Kentucky is close enough that they'll be able to cover Mississippi State team that is still figuring it out offensively post Mike Leach.
Yeah. Next up, if there's one team that should be conquering Saudi Arabia, it should be the Campbell Camels.
Have they flown out their like assistant athletic director or something to try to get some money?
We gotta get that happening. They're taking on the Flaming Libs of Liberty. Liberty's lay at 35.5. The over/under's at 55.5. I'm laying it. Mike Minter's gone. They're breaking in a brand new head coach. Lay it with Liberty. Caden Salter's going to throw for 5,000 yards. NC Nick, what are you doing here?
I completely agree. This is going to get ugly quick.
Patty?
Let me take a look real quick. I want to say that the extent of I can't open it now, but Liberty dominated some pretty good FBS competition last year. The likes of Campbell at the FCS level. That offense is still going to explode, like you said, with Caden Salter at the helm. So 35.5 seems doable. I'm going to take Liberty.
All right, Patty C, stay right there because wasn't that long ago that the Richmond Spiders went into your precious Scott Stadium with your fucking tiki torches and your fucking ties and your no sports bars in the whole goddamn town of Charlottesville, you fucking losers.
Hey, this isn't my town. Harrisonburg is my town. I grew up a UVA fan. I'll admit they're a fucking pathetic sports town.
Yeah. Like I don't even know what you're supposed to do if you got to watch sport. If you're trying to watch sports, you're just fucked in Charlottesville. Richmond's catching 19.5. Over unders 50.5. I'm all over the Spiders. Get the fuck out of here. 19.5. Give me the Spiders to hang tough in this game. NC Nick, what are you doing here?
I do like that Calandry was named starter because I think they have a brighter future with him as long as he can, limit the turnovers and keep getting better. But this is too many points. Give me the Spiders all day.
Patty C, what are you doing here?
100%. Virginia only beat William and Mary by 14 last year. And Richmond also
it was a 7-point game in the fourth quarter too.
Yeah, exactly. Virginia pulled away late. Richmond beat William and Mary by 1 last year. So to expect Virginia to win this game by 3 touchdowns not only goes against anything we've seen in recent history for the most part, but it ignores last year.
So, some of these Virginia games are close to locks too. Like I could be talking to Liberty and Richmond.
Yeah, you're right. They're very close.
Malik Washington. Well, I want to say set an ACC record with like 110 or 119 catches. I forget exactly what the stat was. So they lost probably the best weapon they've had in recent history. You don't just step in and replace that. I do like that Calandria was named the quarterback. I think that gives them the potential to score a bunch of points, but still, Richmond's too good of a program to just get destroyed by Virginia.
Also gives them potential to throw a couple pick sixes like he did all year.
I think this is where we throw out the check the picks page.
Yes.
Maybe we throw something on Richmond or on Liberty.
Yeah, those are close. Those are very close. Next up, we go to Corvallis, where Cody Hawkins and you see Dan Hawkins join the staff. We got the Hawkins family. It's a family affair in Pocatello, Merrill Hodge's alma mater, as they head into Corvallis, catching 28.5. Too many points. for Oregon State's breaking in like 1,000 new players. give me Idaho State plus 28.5. Patty C, what are you doing here?
I don't know. Idaho State was pretty bad in a bunch of spots last year. Gave up 50 points or more.
Almost beat San Diego State.
Did. I mean, but the next week lost by 50 to Utah State. So a little bit tough. Oregon State, a phenomenal team last year, but so much has changed that seems like too many points, especially given the hook. I'll go Idaho State.
Patty NC Nick, what are you doing here?
I concur. Give me the points.
All right, we move along. Oh man, okay? I was thinking about this. Shout out. Where's GBO Farms when you need them? Tennessee Tech, the very Golden Eagles, are catching 23. This is a series that goes back to 1960.
They won't get offended if we say Golden Eagles, right?
Yeah,
they will not.
They're not from Orlando.
You want to crazy? You ready for this? This is my crazy money line play. All right.
Ooh.
Derek Mason replacing his whole damn team. Tennessee Tech, not terrible. They hang tight with Middle Tennessee. It's a rivalry game, man. Give me the points.
I hear you.
I'm locking this shit. Give me the Eagles. Fly. Way too many points. Who the hell is Middle Tennessee to be favored by 23 points? NC Nick?
I can't get down on the lock, but other than me betting on Syracuse, I do like fading first-year head coaches. So I will take Tennessee Tech.
Patty C, what are you doing?
Let me tell you
here?
this too. Not exactly like amazing performance by Middle Tennessee across the board. Obviously getting smoked by Western Kentucky, losing to recent FCS Jacksonville State by 15, losing to traditional doormat New Mexico State, even though they were good last year, and then losing to recent FCS Sam Houston last year as well. I guess you got to roll Tennessee Tech. FCS might be on their level.
I will acknowledge that Tennessee Tech got smoked the last couple of FBSs they've played, and one was New Mexico. But this is a rivalry game with the brand new head coach. Give me that 23. They can keep it close. Maybe I'm full of shit here. I am betting it though. Shout out GBO Farms has sent us enough money over the years to bet this fucking game. All right. All right. Next up, we go to North Alabama and Memphis. North Alabama didn't look so great last week. I will lay the 38 with Memphis. NC Nick, what are you doing here?
Yeah, I agree. I think they covered this with these. They're going to put up a lot of points this year.
Patty C?
What did North Alabama do again last week?
They lost by like 16 or something. 18, something like that. I don't know.
3-8 last year. Yeah. Memphis has high hopes. I'm sure they're gunning for a group of 5 playoff berth appearance. So maybe they start out hot. Seth Hennigan in like year number 7 there down in Memphis. Sure.
Feels
I'll
like
give it to the Tigers.
Yeah. Next up in a series that goes back 100 years, Furman heading into Ole Miss. The Rebels laying 42. Over under set at 60.5. Take the over. I guess I'll lay it. Give me like Ole Miss like 63-13. Nick?
Furman pretty good last year.
No, they're an FCS playoff team. They're good.
Yeah, I think they're good enough to cover this. I mean, Ole Miss, they might not take the game all that seriously. Give me Furman.
I mean, the over's the play here. The over is hitting because both offenses can fly.
Yeah, absolutely.
I like that.
Their lowest output last. ETSU did kind of bottom up a little bit, so they're hit and miss. But most of the time, their offense is flying. Again, 10-3, 26-point loss against South Carolina last year. So is Ole Miss, assuming Furman's a similar team that they were last year, 16 points better than South Carolina? Maybe at home. I'm still going to go Furman. But Ole Miss can score a lot of points, so it's possible.
All right, we got a rivalry game here down in Houston, Texas.
Here's a play I know at least a couple of us like.
112 years old. Let's go. 110 years old. I can't count. Sam Houston State at the Rice Bowl. All right, Patty C's talking Granola Bowl. This is the Rice Bowl. Rice is laying 10. This is ridiculous. 10 my ass. Give me Sam Houston. Give me the 10 points. Sprinkle that money line. Yeah, we're hook, line, and sinker, Mac. And I know NC Nick, I think, is with us. NC Nick?
Yes, lock it up also. If you've listened to a Conference USA preview, you'll know why.
Patty?
We mentioned that Sam Houston finally found its offensive footing over the second half of last year. Again, some of that might have had to do with the fact that they were playing BYU, Air Force, Houston, and Jacksonville, Liberty, and New Mexico State during the first half of last year. Couldn't manage more than 28 points only in one outing. Did they manage more than 16? Second half of the season, the offense kind of exploded. I expect that to continue. And Rice, even though they're pretty good, Sam Houston will keep it within 10. In what? Both of those, how far away are those schools from each other?
I don't think they're very far, like 20 minutes, I think. 30
that
minutes.
Could develop into a little local rivalry now that they're both FBS.
Well, they've been playing since 1912, so it might already be, buddy. Might already be.
Nationally relevant local rivalry.
Gotcha. Next up, Nevada, the Wolfpack looked pretty damn good. This line was at 16. They look so good. Vegas shaved a touchdown off this. Woo. As they head into Troy, Alabama for Gerard Parker's first game. I will take Nevada +9. I was impressed by them, and I also think the Gerard Parker hire is a little puzzling to me. NC Nick, what are you doing here?
And Troy lost so much. I mean, I think in general it'll be interesting to see what we do with the teams that played week 0, see if there's a kind of an overreaction or not. But Nevada showed me enough that they got a lot of fight in them. At least they're still not the most talented team. They're not the deepest team, but I think they come to play. So give me the points.
Patty?
I mean, if you're just looking at last year, you have to think SMU was a better program, and SMU had coaching continuity. So look, it's not like there's a reason that Nevada should have been that close or probably should have won that game. So based on that alone, I think you got to roll Nevada.
Yeah. Bethune-Cookman's at South Florida. Bethune beat them in the early 2000s. Oh, that's at Troy, Alabama. That's actually in Tampa, Florida. I fucked that up. South Florida's laying 39. Lay it, I guess. Nick?
That's yeah. I mean, it's coming down a little bit, so I guess some money's coming in on Bethune somehow. But I mean, I do think South Florida's gonna have a pretty solid offense this year. They're gonna put up some points. So yeah, go Bulls.
Patty?
What did Bethune do last year? I gotta pull that right quick.
They didn't do shit.
3-8 team at Memphis. They lost by 42. So assuming South Florida is, well, quite frankly, a little worse than Memphis, I'll give it to South Florida to cover 39.
All right, now we got a one that goes way back, 1916. They don't like each other much down there in Conway and Jonesboro. Central Arkansas is catching 9.5 in Jonesboro. I struggle with this one. I don't know about you, Nick. I went Arkansas State minus the points, but I didn't feel good about it. Central Arkansas is a respectable FCS.
7-4 last year.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing that put me over the top was that Arkansas State did beat Texas State last November, 77-31.
Yeah,
I'm not sure how that happened against the Texas State team. It's pretty good. So I think Arkansas State is at least solid now in the Sun Belt. Sun Belt West is wide open. Hey, maybe Arkansas State can make some noise.
But I mean,
I'll lay the points.
Central Arkansas played Oklahoma State close in Stillwater.
Yeah,
played North Dakota State pretty well, and Arkansas State also had some lemons. I mean, they lost 73-0 to Oklahoma. Obviously, you can't mistake Central Arkansas for Oklahoma. Either way, 9.5 is a pretty tough game to pick. I don't have a great feel on that, but I'll lean Central Arkansas, I guess.
There we go. Stupid. Next up, we got Tarleton State, still top 25. They won, but whew, they got lucky to win that game. Baylor's laying 26. I watched that game. I will lay the 26 with Baylor. Tarleton State, you're not going to get 4 first-half turnovers again. Was not impressed with Tarleton State's defense. Lay the 26.5 with Baylor. DeQuan Finn's going to have a day. NC Nick?
Well, this is another rent-a-QB alert. You know, the grad senior coming over for just 1 year. We'll see how that works out. In the meantime, I think Tarleton saw what they need to improve upon. I think, a little in-state battle, they can keep it within 23, 24 points. Give me the points.
Patty C, what are you doing here?
Baylor 3-9 last year. They only beat LIU by 23, but they kept it close against. They kept it within 7 against Utah. So predicting Baylor is pretty tough. I actually am looking at Tarleton the opposite way you are. I thought their first half performance was very impressive, even though turnovers aren't typically replicable. I thought they were the much better team than McNeese. Credit to McNeese for making a comeback, but I think Tarleton covers 26.5 against Baylor. Don't have a great feel on it, though.
I'm going to cash this wager. That's a lock for me.
You're probably right.
I'm going to cash this. Western Kentucky. I got another lock for you guys.
This is the lock of the week. It's ridiculous.
Kalen DeBoer is going to drop minimum 63.
This is the stupidest line I've ever seen Vegas make. This is so ridiculous.
Is this a triple lock?
Triple lock it up.
Yeah,
yep.
Triple lock it up.
Unbelievable here.
What are they talking about?
Well, I don't get Rain Man cold,
But they're counting down 7-6-5.
Roll Tide.
There we go.
Alabama minus 31.5. See if you can hit that 31.
They act like Kalen DeBoer is, mincemeat here.
And another thing is like Western Kentucky's fell off a little bit to me.
Well, it's kind of funny that you mentioned 63 points because Western Kentucky lost 63-10 to Ohio State last year, and it wasn't like the Buckeyes had this great offense. I agree. Western Kentucky's have gotten worse and worse every year. I think DeBauer opens up with a bang.
Yeah,
this is lock of the week for me.
Yeah, I feel very good about it too. Played Jalen Miller on the DFS front too. Next up, the UNLV Running Rebels are heading into Houston, Texas. Willie Fritz, first game back in Houston since he was coaching Sam Houston back in the day. Houston's laying 2.5. The over/under at 54.5. Give me the Houston Cougars. Not falling for this running rebel bullshit. Chakakanimi season last season needed to send the Mountain West a fucking Christmas card or Thanksgiving gift so you can get in the Mountain West Championship. Had no business being in there. You play at that fucking bullshit stadium. You should be at Sam Boyd. Willie Fritz is
blowing.
Willie Fritz gonna take down these rebels. All right. Give me Houston minus 2.5. NC Nick, what are you doing here?
Yes, I'm gonna lock up Houston. And this is just recently moved up to 2.5. It was lower. I think I bet it at -1.
NC Nick locking up the Houston
I'm not
Cougars.
buying UNLV just because they had one good season. So I like Houston here. I think it's a fun game, but I think Houston wins this by at least a touchdown.
Patty C.
Who's UNLV's quarterback that went to USC?
Jaden Mavia.
So that hurts them. Yeah, I guess
Matthew Sluka comes in. He's their new quarterback.
Yeah, look, pretty impressed with the coaching job done at UNLV year one, but still, Houston, a far better program traditionally. I think I'm going to lean into that. They cover 2.5.
There we go. UT Martin's catching 37 in Manhattan. I will take the points and the Skyhawks here.
I want this pilot. It's a matter of national security.
Give me the points. K-State calls off the dogs. Nick?
No, up until the Iowa State loss, which I think was the last game of the year in Manhattan, Kansas State was 5-0 at home. They're also 5-0 ATS. You couldn't put the line high enough. They kept on crushing opponents much better than UT Martin. I'll lay the points.
Patty?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to roll with Nick here. I think Kansas State's on a mission. They're trying to show themselves in the Big 12 from week one. They're obviously contenders, and I think it's up for grabs for anyone. So I think Kansas State gets off to a nice start here.
This is the worst game on the whole slate. Alabama A&M is catching 47.5 at Hugh Strip Club Freeze and the Auburn Tigers Jordan Hare Stadium. Lay it and give me the over. Auburn's going to score 60. Alabama A&M is not very good. Nick?
53-3. Auburn covers, but the under hits.
Patty? What are our thoughts on Peyton Thorne? Is he the type of dude that's going to light up? I mean, mediocre, but still, I agree with you guys. Auburn's such a superior product that even such a big number, they'll probably cover.
Oh, boy, do I got a wager here. UCLA is located in Los Angeles. And they haven't played a game at Hawaii since 1935 when Jackie Robinson was their starting running back and scored a touchdown in that game. No, Hawaii was playing hooky last week. They played every player on their roster. Hawaii isn't only covering the 14. I think the money line is live. Because you
say Hawaii was playing hooky last week. They were what, tied at halftime with Delaware State?
No, they were up at halftime, but
they're tied in the second quarter.
They played every player on their roster. They kept it vanilla, and that is why. I'm locking up the Hawaii Rainbow Warriors. I'm betting them, and I'm sprinkling the money line. Here. And see, Nick, what are you doing on the island?
Yeah, I don't mind that. Like, people are now off their scent. You know, people think that they struggled last weekend. Sure, they did. But I do think they were keeping it very vanilla. They were playing a lot of young guys. I think UCLA, who knows what to expect from them. But I like the home dog in this situation. I will take the points, and I'll lock it up with you, Dundee.
There we go. Let's go. Shaker bombs for everybody.
You guys are living with tinfoil hats here. There's no chance that Hawaii came in trying to fool everyone against Delaware State. It's week 1. They're trying to do the best that they can and win by the most that they can. And if you're tied at halftime with an FCS program that couldn't even figure out how to charter a flight.
They weren't tied at halftime.
They were not
tied in the second. It was 14-14. Where'd they go up? 28-14 by halftime. But still, they were struggling against Delaware State, a traditionally terrible program. UCLA is probably 2 touchdowns better than them, even on the road.
No.
So give me the Bruins.
No, you're wrong.
Got to look at the information that's right in front of you and take that.
The Idaho Vandals have been playing Oregon since 1901. Oregon's laying 43.5. Idaho was an FCS playoff team the past 2 years. However, their whole team left. I'll lay the 43.5 with Oregon. Nick?
Yeah, what did I say that other game was with Oregon last year? 81-7 or something?
Yeah.
Oregon might not score 81 here, but they'll cover.
Patty?
Similar output. Yeah, you got to figure Oregon's on a mission to completely dominate. Iowa 9-4. I'm trying to look for a comparable game. That they didn't play anyone at that level last year. Montana, pretty good. They kept it within 3. So I don't know if Oregon's 40 points better than Montana. You know what? I'll roll Idaho week 1.
Take those Vandals. Fresno State's coming into Ann Arbor, Michigan. I actually think it's one of the hardest games on the slate. With Tedford, I love the 21. I was like, yeah, they're going to hang tough.
This is a lock. Even without Tedford.
I'm taking Fresno. I'm still taking Fresno, but I don't feel good about it. I don't know about Tim Skipper's in-game adjustments.
I don't know about Tim Skipper's in-game adjustments, but I don't know about Alex Orji, leading a dynamic and unpredictable offense for Michigan. They may be able to run down Fresno's throat, but it's up to Michigan's defense, which is still stacked. Let's be honest. To stop a very prolific offense for Fresno State. That leads me to believe that Fresno is going to be able to put some points on the board and keep this thing relatively close.
You're locking it?
No. But I'm taking Fresno.
Yeah, I'll take Fresno, I guess. I mean, I loved it with Tedford, but now I don't know. I can see Michigan fucking them up at the same time. I don't know about Tim Skipper. Nick,
well, you don't know about Sharon Moore either.
We saw him coach for like 4 games.
Yeah, it's kind of a proven commodity at this point.
Oh, but come on, like how many players were like 1st-round draft picks?
Well, I guess Skipper coached the bowl game and won.
Oh, okay. Yeah, exactly. But I don't know. I'm taking Fresno. I might be picking a little bit with my heart here, hoping that Fresno, a program that we all kind of root for, can keep it close. But I think they will. So yeah, give me the points.
Abilene Christian has been playing Texas Tech for 99 years here. Texas Tech's laying 3.5. Give me the points in Abilene Christian. Let's get these Wildcats going here. Nick?
Agreed. In the last couple of years, they've played Texas A&M and Missouri a lot closer than 33.5 points. So I think they're a little feisty here too. So yeah, give me Abilene.
Patty C?
I don't know. Did they get Abilene last year? I don't think so. They did. Texas Tech did get Tarleton last year, who is an equal FCS competition. They beat them by 38.
No, Abilene Christian played A&M close.
Gotcha. Well, that's something to be taken into account. However, Texas Tech, I don't know. I don't have a great feel for it, but I'll go Red Raiders.
Oh boy, we got
no, Colby wants to talk about this one.
I bet this shit on like June 30th.
Oh yeah, you've been talking shit about this game forever, and guess what? I thought about it today. A lot of these games, you've chipped away at me and made me really reconsider.
Well, I don't get.
This is a game that, when I think about it, I still think I'm going with my initial gut feeling, and that's Notre Dame.
Well, you're going to lose because I'm locking up Texas A&M. My ticket's already -1, but I mean, I don't care about 2.5. What do I care? Okay. A&M wins. Ready for this? A&M wins 24-13 final.
Elko's first game. Meanwhile, Freeman is finally getting it into gear in Notre Dame. Year 3. They should have beaten Ohio State last year. I think Notre Dame, especially if Riley Leonard is healthy and playing good football, maybe they're a team that finally takes that next step.
Nope. Nick?
Yeah, I think this is probably the most hostile environment out of every game week 1. Prime time, under the lights. This place is going to be rocking, and Mike Elko is currently at this moment dialing up a defense to limit his old quarterback. You gotta like the home team here. Give me A&M, lock it up.
Oh, and look, I'm locking. Not only are we both double locking this, I feel pretty good about this alt line here of A&M -6.
I like that.
Shout out
you guys
to
are both foolish. Mark it down. Notre Dame money line.
Let's go. Hey, Patty C, you betting this? You battling?
Yeah, let's battle.
Hey, man. Patty C. Patty Contrarian.
There we go. Welcome to the party, pal. Here we go. We got a battle at College Station. NC Nick picked on D on A&M. Patty C saying, I'm your leprechaun.
And E. Arbo saying in the chat that the swamp is louder. You know what? That might be the game that could give this game a run for their money. But this game is prime time. People have been drinking all day at this point.
True. And look, and I would normally push back and say West Virginia, but the fucking good people they're not good people actually, but the people at Fox that moved the West Virginia from night to day game,
horrible.
I think they knew they did that on purpose. Big Ten trying to look out for their Big Ten product, huh? You filthy animals. Because I was about to say, you let West Virginia be at night. I think West Virginia might be able to go up against all of them. Yeah.
True.
Southern Miss won the last time they played in Lexington. And that was against Mark Stoops. They're catching 28. That's too many points.
That's too many.
I mean,
it is too many.
I could be talking to a lock here because they beat Eastern Kentucky by 8 last year, Northern Illinois by 10. Southern Miss got to stay within 28. Who the fuck is Kentucky? Rex Chapman starting at quarterback. What's going on here? Give me the 28 all day.
I'm not touching it, but you're probably right.
Kept it within 18 of Tulane. Kept it within 21 of Mississippi State. Kept it within 10 at App State. I don't know that Kentucky is considerably better than any of those programs, if at all better. So I'm with you. Let's go Eagles.
Yeah. Oh, Morgantown School is closed Friday due to anticipation traffic congestion as the McAfee show. Yeah, dude, I'm telling you, that place is, and I love the fact he's donated a bunch of money to their NIL collective. I love it. Let's make Dub V the fucking, that place is going to burn down. You're lucky SGPN doesn't have a jet. I'd be there. Houston Christian, SMU. What a shitty game. But I actually think there's value here. I think SMU is going to score 70. I think we should lay the 43, and I will lock it up. Houston Christian's breaking in a brand new head coach. I think we lay the 43.5. This is my second bet of the week, minus 43. Lock it. Who's coming with?
I mean, I'm on your side. I think last week was a wake-up call for SMU, and Houston Christian is awful. But am I betting minus 43.5?
Do it.
No, I don't think so.
Coward. Patty?
Houston Christian 6-5 at the SCS
Their
level
coach is
last year.
gone. He went to Campbell.
Admittedly pretty terrible competition. However, again, I'm going to take the information that's been placed right in front of my face last week and use that as the basis of my analysis, and I'm going to go Houston Christian.
You're wrong. I can't wait to talk shit to you guys. All right. Look, Biff Poggi said they're without 9 starters.
The excuses have already started.
No. You ready for this? I've already bet this. We don't need 9 starters. JMU, their whole goddamn starting team's at Indiana now. All right? Biff Poggi and Charlotte, they not only cover the 9, they win outright at home at Jerry Richardson Stadium. All right? Got the interns will be working late hours.
Maybe Biff Poggi's got a little deception up his sleeve. I think if you're a JMU fan, a JMU player, JMU coach, you need to anticipate that. He seems like the type of guy that would do that. That said, we're a much better team than 9 points in the first place. And if there's any shred of truth to what he's saying, that they're down 8 or 9 starters, we're going to dominate their ass. Okay, so lock it up, JMU.
Nick, you want to come on this journey?
It was an odd press conference, and the line was actually starting to move down a little bit. I think it went down to 6 or so. Then after the press conference, it went back up to 9. So therefore, I'm not going to bet it personally, but I will take the points at home.
We got a battle. Patty C, JMU -9. Pick Dundee, the Clits +9.
We've been farting on this one all
Sprinkle that money line. Let's go. All right. Texas A&M Commerce heading to the Snapper. Nobody walks into the Snapper and gets a dub. Sean Lewis and San Diego State laying 33.5. I will lay it, but my favorite play of this, if you're going to bet this, I don't know that I'm going to bet this, but if I had to bet this, I might really bet this over 57.5 because I think points will be had in this game. NC Nick, what are you doing here?
I'll take the points. Again, new coach, new quarterback. I'll fade that week 1.
Patty?
Look, Texas A&M Commerce is great of a school name as they have. They did forfeit their last game of the season last year, 2-0. I have no idea why, but that doesn't seem like a program that you should be betting on. So I'm going to roll San Diego State at home.
Grambling, Louisiana. Believe it or not, this is only, I think, the second or third matchup they've ever played. Louisiana's laying 33. No. Get this Mike Desimero shit out of here. Give me Grambling and the points. Nick?
Yeah, that offense in the last, 3 years under him has not clicked enough for me to lay that kind of number. I'll go Grambling.
Patty?
Yeah, I'm all over Grambling as well. Louisiana, I don't know, though. I mean, 33, it's a big enough number. But Louisiana, just a few years ago under who's the guy at Florida? Napier, was flying, and this would kind of be a lock in Louisiana's favor. Maybe they're finally getting to where they're supposed to be under Desimero. I don't have a great feeling for this, actually, but I'll go Grambling just because Louisiana hasn't proven it lately.
Nichols is only catching 8 against La Tech. This is an FCS win, NC Nick. Nichols is going to beat
this is what
La
I was
Tech.
talking about earlier.
Nichols is going to beat La Tech. I will take the 8 points, sprinkle that money line. I also think the over 56.5 is a smash play. Patty?
Nichols has their offense 7-5 last year. I don't think their offense is quite what it was a few years ago. So, granted, 8 points. No, I'm going to go Louisiana Tech. I'm going to go Louisiana Tech to cover this one.
NC Nick?
I do like fading La Tech ever since they got rid of our boy Skip Holtz. So I'll ride with you, Colby Nichols.
Let's go. The Salukis, our boy Stone Labanowitz, former legendary quarterback there, are heading into this line has been dropping. I don't understand why this line's been dropping so much. This was like 19. It's down to 14.5. I even see a 14 out there right now. What am I missing? I mean, Southern Illinois is good. They beat an FBS a year ago.
Their last 2 times playing FBS teams, they've won.
But this place is going to be lit. I'm taking BYU minus the points.
Give me Southern Illinois. Is it going to be that lit? I mean, it's always packed, but it's not like BYU's looking at it. Not like fans are like, man, I can't wait till that Southern Illinois game.
They come out for anything, dude.
They come out, but it's not like
they can do marble races at midfield, and they're going to fucking pack that thing.
The line is moving a little bit up to 14.5 from 14. So I don't know if
I got it at 14.5. Everyone's got their fucking ecto coolers. You know what I mean? Patty C, what are you doing here?
I think BYU finally gets back on track to the dominant team that they were, and they win by more than 14.5 here.
That Saluki logo is fire, though. Robert Morris, Bernard Clark, head coach of Robert Morris, NC Nick, the old Miami linebacker. Remember Dexter Carter threw the penalty flag on his head.
Flag on his head, yeah, exactly.
Utah State's laying 31. Nate Drilling, game 1, interim head coach. I guess lay it. I don't know. Robert Morris wasn't a powerhouse in the FCS, so I will say lay it because the Maverick Stadium, Merlin Olsen Field gets lit. I don't feel great about this one, Nick.
I'll go Robert Morris. I mean, they only lost by 35 to Air Force last year, if that makes a difference. So I guess they keep it a little bit closer than that. Again, fade the new coach with the new QB.
Patty?
Utah State, when playing against FCS competition last year, Idaho State, I don't know how comparable they are to Robert Morris, but they did win 78-28. So a 50-point victory there. Give me Utah State.
Oh boy, what could go wrong for the Ramblin' Wreck as they host their in-city rivals that they've never played. First time they've ever played.
Wow.
I'm fascinated to see what direction you guys are going here.
I got to take the points. You're coming back from Dublin. You've been chasing on the scattered ass in Dublin. Come back.
If there's ever a letdown spot, I think you have to take the points, but I'm not that confident because this
is definitely not a lock.
Really bad.
Yeah. Del McGee taking over Georgia State. I'll take the points, but I don't feel great about it.
Yeah, agreed.
Patty?
Georgia State 7-6 last year, but lost their last 5 regular season games, granted against pretty good competition, including Georgia State on the road, James Madison, App State, at LSU and ODU. Got back and crushed Utah State in the bowl game. So I don't know, 21 points. I just think even with the letdown spot, Georgia Tech looked like a really good program, and you can't quarterback and running back talent, the Haynes boys, I think they get it done even if it takes them 2.5 quarters to start getting going.
Patty's using that information right in front of his face, right?
I'm pulling it, dude. You guys are gonna have to take the next pick. All right, Solo.
What?
I'll be back in 1 sec. You guys cover.
You gotta shit his pants. Lamar is
pull a George Brett.
Lamar is catching 31.5. Lay it. This is an old school game though. Going back to 1951. Nick, what are you doing here?
No, I agree. I think Texas State's offense is gonna, the sparks are gonna fly.
This is an FCS win right here. SEMO got the game 1. The FCS game, I'm sorry, the week 0 game already played where they look good. Now they head in to Las Cruces, catching 8.5. Give me SEMO. Lock this thing up. They're winning this game outright. NC Nick?
I don't feel comfortable enough to lock, but I'm definitely on the point.
Oh boy, they're gonna do it. Next up, old school rivalry since 1911. Can Bronco Mendenhall stop Brent Brennan, Noah Fafita? I don't think so. I will lay the 31 with Arizona. What are you doing here, NC Nick?
I guess you're probably right, but much like Nevada. Now, granted, Arizona's a lot better than Troy, but I think New Mexico is going to fight this year. So I think they can just barely squeak out a cover, lose by 4 touchdowns.
There we go. Wyoming. Why this line's gone up to 7.5. I was surprised to see that today. I only wish I would have caught that earlier. I might bet this again because I got it 6.5. I think the wrong team's favored. I think Wyoming's a better team.
I mean, usually you only bet Wyoming
in Laramie
at home. But I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
They're the more physical football team.
Yes, sir.
Let's go.
Let's go Cowboys.
Lock it up.
Patty C, you got to play on Wyoming, Arizona State.
I'll join you guys in the lock. I can't believe it. Did it move?
Lock.
I thought it was 6.5.
Yeah, it's up to 7.5 now.
No, that's easy. That's easy.
Yeah, lock this thing up. Triple lock. What am I doing over here on the music front? Look, I know Wyoming might be distracted because
it's a small world when you've got unbelievable tits, right?
But at the same time, triple lock. Wyoming knows what to do. They're going to go in there and win. Let's go, David. I'm riding that money line. Let's go. All right, we're almost through this thing. Weber State, Washington. I'll take Weber State plus the 27. Nick?
Too many points with all those changes with a very quality FCS squad. I agree.
Patty?
How has Weber done in recent years? I thought they had fallen off a little bit.
Yeah, Washington, I think they still had a winning season, but they weren't like as elite.
Quite the FCS playoff team we're used to seeing them as. Washington, meanwhile, obviously lost everyone, but they were in the national championship last year. I don't know. This is a really hard game to predict. If you bet this, you're an idiot, in my opinion. I'll lean with
unless
you
win.
Yeah, unless you win, then you're a genius. Weber State.
Guys, on Sunday at noon, we have an FCS game. There's only 2 college football games on Sunday. This is the Orange Blossom Classic in Miami, Florida. North Carolina Central is catching 3. Davis Richards gone. Went pro. Alabama State brings in a ton. They've been a good team. Take it Central though. NC Nick, what are you doing here in Miami?
You know what I'm doing. I'm taking the university that's like 8 miles up the road from me, and that ain't Alabama State. Let's go NC Central.
Patty C, you got to lean there in the Orange Blossom Classic Sunday at noon.
Sure. NC Central played pretty darn good football last year, 9-3. Good. Wait, they're out of the MEAC though, right now, right?
Yes. Alabama State's out of the SWAC. NC Central's in the MEAC.
Oh, okay. Okay. So we got a nice little NC Central's out of the MEAC. Alabama Central's still in the SWAC, right?
Alabama Central. What the fuck are you talking about?
No,
Alabama State is in the SWAC. Central's in the MEAC.
Wait, I thought one of them moved. Okay, never mind. But I'm newly found confidence in the MEAC, so give me NC Central here.
Let's go. Sunday night.
There we go.
LSU USC. Mirror images. Both teams with horrible fucking defenses this season ago. Weren't they both bottom 15 defenses?
Sounds right. They were both god awful.
I think
both
USC
new quarterbacks.
Both new defensive coordinators.
Yeah, this line dropped, and both replacing star quarterbacks.
A lot of parallels.
This was 6. It came down to 4. I need to go over a field goal. Give me USC. I think USC could win the game. They're kind of getting slept on, but I don't feel great about this. But I'll bet it because it's the only game on.
Well, we're gonna do a lock battle because I'm on LSU. I think LSU is the better squad. I think they're in store for a surprise season, even if I do like USC and the over. So I'll lock up LSU.
Oh, I'm probably gonna end up betting this.
Well,
but I haven't bet it yet,
right?
Well, yeah, I'll battle you for the sake of battling you, but
battle up, buddy.
All right. Hello,
Patty. See you coming?
No, play the music though.
What do you? The battle music? You mean?
The battle music, yeah.
All right.
Thank you. Well, this is a great way to get started, and I haven't even won all my games yet.
In fact, you've never won an opener at LSU, Brian Kelly. 0-2. Battle.
I say,
NC Nick with the Tigers. Say we Tigers. Pick the D roller with the Trojan men. Patty, what are you doing?
In Las Vegas, I think that probably gives USC enough of an advantage to cover. I kind of agree with Nick if we're really looking at this, and the fact that you guys have pointed out on our previews that Brian Kelly hasn't had a problem with USC, at least while he was at Notre Dame. Presumably has a little more talented of a team at LSU than he did at Notre Dame. I think at this point he should be the favorite, even in Vegas, although I think Vegas causes USC to cover LSU by 2, but I wouldn't be surprised if SC pulls the upset.
Final game on the slate. Boston College heads into Saudi Arabia State. take on the Saudis.
So not Kuwait, but Riyadh, right?
Yes.
That's right.
Yeah, Riyadh. Dubai,
It's all the
though.
same.
It works with Dubai too, right?
Tehran.
The Seminoles of Saudi Arabia are laying 16.5. It's too many points. I'm still taking Boston College because Bill O'Brien, he coached Brent Key. Do you guys know that angle at Georgia Tech?
That's right.
I feel like that angle, like they're going to trade phone calls. They were both on the staff with Nick Saban at Alabama. They have a lot of similarities. Boston College's offense is really good. The offensive line is really good. The offense is not. But Castellanos is a mobile quarterback, a lot like Haynes King. Give me the points, but no lock. I don't know what I'm gonna bet. Maybe I'll bet the under. I don't know. How many times will you read this week that this team has a huge edge with a game under their belt? FBS teams playing game number 2 versus an FBS 39% ATS. Wow.
Wow.
I don't know if it's a game under. I don't know if it's the game under the belt. I think it's just coming back. It's a bounce back spot.
Your clock's all different. You've been sitting there in Dublin.
Yeah, and I mean, who really wants to root for Florida State? So I'm staying far away from this. But give me Boston College in the points. I think they're decent enough to keep it close, and I think the question marks about Florida State still exist.
Yeah, take the points. Patty C, what are you doing here?
I wish I knew a little more about Boston College and the weapons that they have. I do think Jamal Haynes, even though I mentioned in our podcast over the weekend or whatever, that Florida State was getting blown off the ball by Georgia Tech's offensive line. I still think Jamal Haynes was a dynamic playmaker that made a difference and helped Georgia Tech pull away from Florida State. I don't know that Boston College has that, but still 16.5 seems awfully big. Maybe being in Tallahassee helps Florida State, but I'm going to lean Boston College. Don't feel great about that.
Yeah, I got to find an edge to bet. I mean, I'm taking BC, but I think I'm going to bet the total or something. I got to figure it out. I got a lot of, you'll hear me on the Saturday reaction show talking about this, but folks, that's our show. I mean, I don't know if you want to recap the locks. There's a slew of locks that we have.
I just checked. I would say just check the
picks page, sportsgamblingpodcast.com. Click on the picks. You'll see the locks. It's all there. Get the SGPN app. It's free to download in the App Store and Google Play Store. Give Patty C a follow on Twitter at PattyC831. NC Nicks on Twitter at NC__NICK. I'm on Twitter at DColbyD. The College Football Experience is on Twitter at TCE on SGPN. So get on over there. All right. YouTube.com/The College Experience. Shout out to Noah Beanick on the boards, kicking ass at life. And yeah, football season's back. We'll have a live show. Well, first, we got a few other shows happening, but we have a live show Saturday morning, an hour before game time starts. And then we have a reactions show Saturday night. Till then, folks, this is the College Football Experience. You better start thinking about yours. And we out of here.